Everything inside this ballpark, the short porch Crawford boxes, a locomotive and train tracks, and a flagpole that's in play up Tal's Hill. It's the D-backs and the Astros on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Minute Maid Park, and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Tom Candiotti along the way. Candy's sitting in for Bob Brenly the next two games. The D-backs and the Astros 3 of 4 here. Robbie Ray and Mike Fiers the pitching matchup. And Candy, Diamondback starters the last two games have gone only 3 1/3 innings. So it's a tired bullpen right now for Chip Hale. They need some innings from Robbie Ray tonight.
Yeah, they're really counting on Robbie Ray trying to get deep in this game. But not only get deep, but start getting effective, especially early in the count. He needs to throw more first pitch strikes. He's only thrown about 50% first pitch strikes. The key to Robbie Ray, and we'll go over it during the game, is his ability to stay back and not drift. And if he can do that, and he can stay on top of the ball, he's going to be a lot more effective and a lot more consistent.
What do you mean when you say drift?
He's going to drift just like a hitter sometimes. When they drift, you see their head going forward a little bit without really driving. You can do the same thing in pitching. You don't drift. Sometimes you fall forward like that and you lose a little bit of power and you don't get on top of the ball. And we'll break that down as we go. But for Robbie, he needs to throw low strikes and he needs to throw first pitch strikes because he is under league average throwing first pitch strikes.
Well, so far in this series, George Springer has done a lot of damage for A.J. Hinch's Astros, but you can't forget about Jose Altuve, the former leadoff hitter, now batting in the two-hole.
Well, you know, I talked to A.J. Hinch at length about Jose Altuve, and he was talking about how he has just become a complete player. He understands his surroundings very well, not only on the field, but in the clubhouse, and he makes so many in-game adjustments that A.J. Hinch thinks this guy is a team leader. He's having an incredible year this year.
Red hot right now, batting .440 during a 6-game hitting streak. We are just about set to go here. The Diamondbacks and the Astros from Minute Maid Park in Houston. That's coming up next on Fox Sports Arizona.
Arizona Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink. Switch to CenturyLink Prism TV for an advanced TV experience. Learn more at cprismtv.com. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Double Jack Burger today, only at Jack in the Box.
By Oregano's. Step up to the plate for a guaranteed home run at Oregano's, your neighborhood pizza joint. Location statewide.
And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money.
Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. Cox Gigablast, 100 times more powerful internet from Cox. Bring on tomorrow. By Papa Murphy's, love at 425 degrees. And by Mattress Firm, save money, sleep happy. We are inside Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, just about set for first pitch. Robbie Ray on the mound for the Diamondbacks and Mike Fiers for the Astros. Lineup cards being exchanged right now. Back with the first pitch from Houston after this. Bobby Dynamite driving his train across Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. We are all buttoned up indoors here. Rainy and stormy outside in downtown Houston. Steve Berthiaume, Tom Candiani, and Jody Jackson along the way. The third of a four-game set. The Diamondbacks and the Astros. And Candy, Chip Hale trying to get his ball club turned around here. 8 games under 500. They've lost 13 of 19.
Yeah, they really need to get it going here. And you end up losing the first two in the series, but the batting order they're going to have tonight, Chip's going to send out is Segura leading off, Michael Bourne hitting second in front of Goldie, who's hitting third, Lamb behind him, Ricky Weeks Jr., Chris Herman, and then you got Chris Owings, Yasmani Tomas, and Brandon Drury.
Yeah, you got Ricky Weeks Jr. as the DH in the American League Park. Your Arizona forward starting pitcher for the Astros is 30-year-old right-hander Mike Fiers. He's won just once in his last 6 appearances. He's around the plate a lot. In fact, he's given up more home runs this season than walks, but he's getting hit more often this year. The strikeout numbers down, the ERA up.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. He's got a .293 batting average against, but with that .293, it's an .824 OPS. So they're getting the ball, they're hitting extra base hits. In fact, right-handed hitters this year have 19 extra base hits against them, so they have handled him well.
That bodes well for the Diamondbacks, always a right-hand heavy lineup. Sean Barber is our plate umpire tonight. Gene Segura steps in, and we are set to go. The Diamondbacks and the Astros from Houston on Fox Sports Arizona. Segura hitting .306. He's got 5 home runs.
Gene doubled and tripled in the first 2 games against the Astros at Chase Field. Drove in 3 runs.
When this offense gets going, when Gene gets on base, he can create some havoc out there. You got to get Friars pitching from the stretch.
Why so?
Well, he throws a lot of high fastballs. He's not real quick to the plate. He's a guy that you can run on. But anytime, I think, when you create a little bit of pressure on that pitcher out there, that's when they're about to make mistakes. So if you can flood the base pass and get on base for Goldie, I think that's the secret.
Well, Segura so far doing very well. He's ahead 3 balls and no strikes on Fiers. Fiers' main pitch, that 4-seam fastball, nothing special velocity wise. In fact, it's below average, about 90. But it is one of those fastballs, Candy, it seems, that rises on the hitter. As you mentioned, he'll elevate that pitch from time to time, won't he?
He will elevate it. He pitches up in the zone. He normally doesn't pitch down in the zone. Ends up getting a lot more fly ball outs than he does ground ball outs. You just got to make sure you bring him down.
Big cut by Segura, full count 3-2.
Yeah, that was a cut fastball that time. Just kept it on the outside part of the plate. He'll throw a lot of cutters along with this curveball and also his changeup.
Yeah, does a very good job of mixing things up. He bounces that one. Leadoff man aboard. Well, there you go, Candy. You get him out of the lineup right away. Let's take a look at the Astros defensively. It's brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Well, defensively for the Astros in the outfield, Jake Marisnick out in left field, Carlos Gomez out in center, Springer out in right field, Valbuena at third, Correa at short, Altuve, of course, at second, Marwin Gonzalez at first, Evan Gattis behind the plate, and Mike Fiers out on the mound. On the bump.
Valbuena comes in from third, the Houston native Michael Bourne and a former Astro. Segura takes off on the first pitch, and he is out of there. Diamondbacks very aggressive, the foot on the gas immediately. We saw Gattis throw out a base runner earlier in this series from behind the plate. It was Paul Goldschmidt yesterday, and he guns down Segura here.
Segura gets a jump, straight steal all the way. That head is down. He dives in there, tries to go to the outside part of the bag. A bang play. Gattis got that throw down there very quickly.
Pitch to Bourne was a ball. 1 out. Segura is erased.
He's taking his time off the field. I think he thought he was in there.
Boy, Gattis so far, Candy, is showing he can really throw from back there.
Yeah, you don't think he's noted as defensive catcher, but he has made a couple really good throws against the Diamondbacks. Change up that time, he got a strike.
Valbuena still in a couple of steps at third. 1-2 on Michael Bourne.
I think he went back-to-back changeups that time. Gattis this year, talking about, he's nailed 2 of the Diamondbacks, but he's 3 for 8 overall throwing guys out.
D-backs have 2 of the 3. Well, Chip Hale happy to get Michael Bourne into the lineup tonight, the Houston native, the former Astros star. Chip really likes to get guys into the games when they're returning to their hometowns. There's some extra motivation, some extra incentive there, he thinks.
A little extra fire. I agree with that.
Sure. Oh, Fiers dropped that breaking ball in there, but missed, says Sean Barber back there. The count is full again, 3-2.
Looked like Michael Bourne gave up on that high breaking ball and just floated down. Gattis held it there, but he didn't get the call.
Good at bat by Michael Bourne. Well, Candy, I know you put a lot of thought into this. You and your staff have come up with a Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game. What do you have?
Well, I think one of the keys to the game really is you got to look at the fires, and you got to put out the fires right now. Here's a guy that he started this game off already with two walks, but you just got to get some guys on base against this guy, set the table. If he's not going to pitch the Goldie, then let him pitch the Lamb, because I think that's a good matchup also.
Here is Paul Goldschmidt. Bourne holds, pitches away for a ball. We mentioned how Fiers had only walked 9 all year. He's walked the first 2 in the ball game. Goldie 269 and 10 homers. The batting average, the highest it's been for Paul since April 10th. He's hit safely in 6 straight. Really starting to heat up. Another Houston native. back in town. He grew up watching the Killer Bees, Bagwell, Biggio, those guys. This was his hometown team, the Astros.
Boy, they were good back there, really through the mid 90s all the way up to the early 2000s. They were that was a tough ball club.
Proving tough in this series, I can tell you that. 1-1 to Goldie.
A lot of changeups. And again, Goldie being very patient also ahead in the count.
See if they want to do anything here. Good hit and run count, 2-1.
Well, I would certainly think, even though Gaddis has thrown 2 guys out, he's a guy that I still think you got to try to take advantage of behind the plate.
Of course, Gaddis was a long-time outfielder, mostly a DH, in fact, since he's been with the Astros. He came up with the Braves as a catcher, but put the catcher's gear away. But earlier this year, he went down to the minor leagues to get reacquainted with the position, and now he's back splitting time with Jason Castro. 2-1 to Goldie. Bourne holds it first. Swing and a miss. It's 2-2.
After all those off-speed pitches, and he's been throwing a lot of changeups early in this game. Blows that fastball right by Goldie.
Long look down to Matt Williams at third. Goldie leading the major leagues in walks. He now has the same number of walks and hits this year. For most of the year, he's reached base safely more often with a base on balls than a base hit. But Goldie, the offense is trending up. He's got 4 hits in the first 2 games against the Astros back at Chase Field, including yesterday, his first 3-hit game of the season.
Yeah, I really like the way he's starting to swing the bat. I think he's starting to hit some shots over to right field, right center field. When I start seeing that Paul Goldschmidt, I think he's coming around.
Certainly looks to be. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
So anytime you see a 2-1 count, a 2-2 count, when you got speed in the base pass like you right now have with Michael Bourne, I could see him on the move right now. Byers throws a lot of breaking balls, a lot of changeups, a lot of off-speed pitches, and especially with 2 strikes, I think he's probably going to go after Goldie. It'd be a good pitch to run on.
Bourne bluffs and holds. Goldie fights it off. That one might drop in front of Gomez, and it does. Bourne is flying into third, and he is out of there.
Well, that's 2 outs now the Diamondbacks have made on the base pass. An attempted stolen base that time. Michael Bourne being aggressive, and he read that ball well, but just Carlos Gomez made a throw right on the money. Barehanded this throw, a 1-hopper, and the tag was right there, and he was out easily.
Yeah, both walks to lead off the ball game erased. A caught stealing and an 8-5 putout. So Goldie at second with 2 down after the base hit. It's Jake Lamb. Jake hitting .284. He's got 8 home runs.
Talking to A.J. Hinch before the game, and they're going to try to go after Jake Lamb with a lot of cutters inside. Changeup first pitch. Well, it seems like he's thrown that changeup probably about 5 or 6 times already in this inning.
Why do they think attacking Jake inside with cutters is the way to go? Any idea?
Well, probably a lot of it has with their advanced scouting, and they might have seen it in a bat earlier on where he really struggled with some cutters inside. But I think that's how they're going to start him. And then if it's not working, or if he's got a good look for it, there's a cutter there inside. He got the call. Well, that was a strike, but he got the call on that one. And if it looks like he's got some good looks at it, then they'll probably go away with the changeup and readjust. But you always have to have a game plan going in, no matter who the hitter is. But you always have to be able to make that adjustment on the fly.
Bounce that one. Goldie going to take off. Gaddis couldn't find it for a moment. A wild pitch is charged to Mike Fiers.
Well, the Diamondbacks now have a guy in scoring position. They've been trying. A changeup again, bounces. Gaddis does a nice job deadening that ball. Hit Jake Lamb's foot as he was trying to get out of the way. But regardless, Goldie with that good secondary lead, he gets into second base now.
A ball and 2 strikes on Jake Lamb. Chops that one foul. Near the shift, the Astros have overloaded the right-hand side. Correa, the shortstop, on the first base side of second.
Mike Fiers has really struggled. His last 3 starts, He's 0-2 with a 6.75 ERA. And really, in this game right now, he's walked 2 guys, given up a hit. So he has really been pitching in kind of luck right now.
He's thrown at least 5 pitches to all 4 D-backs hitters so far. Ahead of Lamb, a ball and 2 strikes. Coming in again. Swing and a miss. So 2 walks, a base hit, and a strikeout. An up and down inning for Mike Fiers, but he keeps it scoreless. Robbie Ray coming up next. In Houston, your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the D-backs is Robbie Ray, 24-year-old left-hander. Both Robbie and the Diamondbacks have won just once in his last 7 starts. So, Candy, why has it been such a struggle for a guy who seems to have such great stuff?
He has tremendous stuff, but if we watch his windup, sometimes he doesn't stay on top of the ball. He has a tendency to drift. And what I mean by that, his upper body and his head are going to drift before he gets his balance. And when you do that, just like a hitter, you lose your power off your backside. So the key for Robbie early on, stay on top of that ball and drive the fastball down early, especially early strikes.
And watch out with the leadoff man, George Springer, who has been a one-man wrecking crew in this series, now at 288 and 12 homers. Coming off 2 big games at Chase Field, 6 hits and 5 RBIs. Smashes the bat in half. Goldie's got it. Going to beat Springer to the bag. 1 down. Let's take a look at the lineup now for A.J. Hinch and his Houston Astros. They've won a season high 4 in a row.
Well, they've been, underachieving so far, but they're trying to get it back in a big way. George Springer leading off, as we saw. Altuve, Correa, the shortstop. Gaddis, the big guy, number 4 hitter. Marlon Gonzalez over first base. Luis Valbuena at third. Carlos Gomez out in center. Tyler White. And then Jay Marisnick out in left field.
We have a conference on the mound right now. I don't know if part of that broken bat might have caught Robbie Ray or something. Let's try and take a look. This thing splintered instantly out of the hands of Springer, coming right at him. Oh, I think he ran into it, Candy, into the sharp end.
It might have. That sharp, and sure, he started hobbling after he felt that, but it looked like it might have got just above the right ankle, possibly.
Yeah. Ken Crenshaw, the D-backs trainer, is out there along with Chip Hale. No mound visit. Robbie seems to be okay, thankfully, and we're set to continue.
Boy, a big craze a few years ago. Remember with all the maple bats that were just splitting and that dagger-like part just kind of flying it everywhere. You had to be so careful with that.
And Major League Baseball has done a great job having higher standards with the quality of the maple that everybody has fallen in love with. Here's Jose Altuve. A pair of hits and an RBI in each of the first 2 games against the Diamondbacks, and he fouls that one off.
How about this? The first 3 hitters of their lineup, of the Astros lineup, has been 13 for 24 against the Diamondbacks. That's a .542 average, and have been on base, 17 times in this series.
They have been the engine at the top of this lineup. Springer, Altuve, and Correa. 1-1 on Altuve, who is 6th in the American League in hitting in .327.
And 8 for 16 in his last 3 games, so he is on a roll right now. Robbie Ray needs to work ahead in the count, stay even or ahead.
Well, he's falling behind.
He looks like he's hurt to me. He kind of hobbled after that pitch right there. It wasn't like he was stable when he landed.
And the way that the bullpen has had to work the last 2 games, each starter going 3 1/3 the previous 2 games. Losing your starter here early would be a disaster.
Boy, even watching his facial expression after he delivered that pitch, a quick look into the dugout it looked like. But I mean, you're the guy out there right now, and you got to get some innings.
Yeah, you're right. It seems to be that somewhere above the right ankle on that leg. Altuve drives that one to left center, and it's going to roll all the way to the warning track. Bourne over there to cut it off. Jose Altuve at it again. That's his 19th double.
And that's one of the reasons why A.J. Hinch is so high on this young man. He has just graduated and not only becoming a possible MVP in the American League, but he's the leader of this team. And boy, he gets it going for him again.
He's now hit in 7 straight. So Altuve in scoring position with 1 out for Carlos Correa.
In his career now 5 for 9 against Robbie Ray. Doesn't get any easier with this guy coming up.
Correa on base throughout the first 2 games in Phoenix. He had 3 hits and he walked 4 times.
Correa is one of those rare talents that can beat you with power. He can beat you with his speed. He's a very intelligent hitter. He's very young.
He's 21 years old. He'll be 22 in September. How will we be able to tell, Candy, if that leg is really bothering Robbie Ray?
I think as the more he pounds on it, I think he's going to have to find something that he can stand, something that he can tolerate out there. And I think even watching him get off the mound after Altuve, it didn't seem like it was bothering him that much. I didn't see him go over to back up third, but he just kind of walked over that way. But it didn't look like it was bothering him. But a couple of those pitches we saw earlier, it surely looked like it was bothering him when he was landing on it.
He seemed to land awkwardly a couple of times, yeah.
Again, behind in the count again on that first pitch we talked about. He's below league average on first pitch strikes, well below.
2 balls and no strikes.
And of course that stat comes from our main man, Mike Barron.
The moral compass.
Yes.
There's a strike. Chip Hale was telling us before the game today that if Robbie has his good fastball tonight, it should be a pretty good game because Houston is a team of very aggressive swingers. So in that sense, it would be strength versus strength. But as we've seen in this series, and Chip put it this way, he said they are swinging the bat with bad intentions right now. Nice pitch there.
Well, in another word, situational hitting. They're 13 for 26 with runners in scoring position in this series. And so they're hitting .500 in key situations.
And they have shown that they are a group that is dangerous 1 through 9 in the batting order. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Carlos Correa. Jose Altuve at second, 1 out. Swing and a miss. He got him with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. That looked like the good Robbie Ray fastball.
It did. That ball has some life to it. Herman sits up inside. He has to reach away, but that ball explodes. And not only the velocity wise, but just how it just jumps as it gets to that hitting area. That's the kind of arm that Robbie Ray possesses. Good situational pitching there. Now he needs to finish it off here, put a goose egg up.
Evan Gattis, the catcher, batting cleanup. Still struggling to throw first pitch strikes. Gattis 235. He's homered 5 times.
Struggling right now. He's 0 for his last 6.
but a guy who is tough on left-hand pitching. There's a strike, 1-1, 96 from Robbie Ray that time.
These are the situations that we saw it happen with Correa. The ability to be able to turn it up a notch when you need to. Got the strikeout when he had to with the runner in scoring position. Let's see if he can come back here and put Gaddis away now.
Here's a chopper to third. Jake Lamb has it in the hole, and he got him. Good job by Robbie Ray. The strikeout and the ground ball strands the one-out double, keeps it scoreless here in Houston. By Robbie Ray to strand Jose Altuve and keep it scoreless. Hey fans, if you're a baseball fan, then you need the all-new Fox Sports app. Get highlights, interviews, injury updates, scores, instant alerts on your favorite teams and rivals. Download it now in the iOS App Store, Google Play, or visit foxsports.com/app. A brand new Fox Sports app. Ricky Weeks Jr. as the designated hitter will lead off the second against Mike Fiers.
Well, what a nice surprise Ricky Weeks Jr. has been this year. Not an easy job coming off the bench, but really doing a nice job getting some big pinch hits for the Diamondbacks.
Chip was talking before the game about his veteran presence that he gives him. Still a very young team. But it's nice to have a veteran guy, Chip felt, Candy, in the middle of the order because it helps him move some of the younger guys down a bit. It seems to calm the middle of the order a bit.
I agree with that 100%. It's nice having him. You don't see him get too high, too low. I mean, you can't, when you read Ricky Weeks, you don't know if you're losing by 10 runs or if you're winning by 10 runs.
Well, as of now, the plan for Chip is to DH Ricky Weeks Jr. tonight and again tomorrow. They want to get him some regular at-bats the next 2 days. And Goldie had no interest in DHing one of these 2 games. He wanted no part of that. Breaking ball got away from him. Duck and cover. It's 2-1. Goldie is feeling very good physically right now. They don't need to get him a day. And with a chance to get Ricky some at-bats as the DH, they're going to make the most of it. So we'll see him tonight and likely again tomorrow in this spot. High fly ball, left center field. Gomez drifting near the hill. He's on the track and he runs it down. Carlos Gomez kind of circled that one, allowed out number 1.
Boy, that was loud off the bat of Ricky Weeks Jr. Just kind of died out there right in front of the 404 mark. Carlos Gomez gets back, and not a real good route efficiency.
No.
But he did make the play.
Not even a little bit. 1 away, Chris Herman. And there are a whole bunch of Hermans with us tonight. Chris is from Tomball, Texas, about A 40-minute drive from here, he said. And he had to leave a whole bunch of tickets, about 25 or so, for family and friends. He's hitting .293. He's got 5 homers.
It seems like every time Chris is in the lineup, something is happening.
Right.
He's making something happen. Big hit, getting on base. I don't know, first to third, first to home, whatever it is.
Well, he's got 20 RBIs in 30 games this year. He's been extremely productive, batting 6th in the order and catching Robbie Ray tonight.
And really doing a nice job behind the plate with his game calling.
He's ahead, 3 balls and no strikes. This is the way Fiers pitched, Candy, in the first inning when he walked the first 2 men.
Walked 2 guys.
Both were erased on the bases.
He hasn't walked more than 2 guys in a game this year.
Stunning. That one's in there. Astros have the shift on for Chris Herman. Here are some of there's the Chris Herman fan club.
There they are.
Herm's Worms, as it were.
They got the shirts working.
There's a whole bunch of them. 3-2.
Cut fastball that time. A little bit on the inside part. But anytime it's a 3-1 count, and that hitter's going to go up there, he's trying to do some damage.
Now, how can you tell it's a cutter?
At the very end, from a right-hander to a left-handed hitter, it just cuts in a little bit. It's not like his 4-seam fastball. Just has a little bit more cut to it. Probably not quite as hard either. That was a 4-seamer there.
That's Correa, the shortstop, from the first base side of second. A 4 or 6-3 put out. 2 down. So the 4-seam fastball might rise. The cutter has more lateral movement.
Yes, exactly right. As it'll cut into lefties or away from righties from a right-handed pitcher.
Chris Owings getting the start in. If you've lost your picture, bear with us. We have severe thunderstorms overhead, and we are back. So hang in. It's Houston, Texas. It's almost summer. It gets really nasty in the afternoons here. And this one is carried over into the evening. Some major lightning and thunderstorms outside. So hopefully everybody in the truck is okay.
Right?
1-1 on Chris Owings.
What a nice job Chris Owings has been doing for the Diamondbacks this year. 288 average, but I mean, he's getting on base, hitting a lot of balls to right field. He's starting to get the long ball going a little bit. He's got a couple of those.
And the versatility between center field, shortstop, and second base really helps.
Yeah, and not an easy thing to do by moving from middle infield out to center field.
And he hadn't played there since middle school, basically. And when you look at the defensive metrics for CO in center field, he's among the best in baseball.
And I know they didn't ask him to do a whole lot when he first got out there. You know, hit the cutoff man, get the ball, but then he throws a guy out at the plate. A couple guys.
Yeah.
But he's having fun.
Yeah, he threw out the first guy and he kind of joked, they won't run on me again. Yeah, well, they did, and he threw the other guy out.
He threw him out too.
But he's in there at shortstop tonight. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, he fires really laboring here, Candy. He does not look sharp.
He's all over the place. You know, he's right now he has not settled in. Pitchers always want to get into the game by developing that rhythm and a tempo. You want to get a good rhythm, a good tempo going.
Well, he gets rung up on a 3-2 pitch. The 4-3-2 count of the ball game for Fiers, but he works a 1-2-3 second back from Houston after this. Andy, at the Diamondbacks defensively. It's brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
This defense has been pretty good for Chip Hale. Out in the outfield, you got Michael Bourne out center. Well, that's Brendan Drury. And Yasmani Tomas in left field. Third base, Jake Land. Chris Owens playing short. Segura at second. Goldie always at first. And Chris Herman behind the plate with Robbie Ray on the mound.
And the pitchers coming and going as we fight the elements. The switch hitter batting .225. He's got 4 homers.
Yeah, we think about the top 3 guys in this lineup by the Astros, but all the way through this lineup, maybe they don't get as much praise as the top 3 guys do, but they do their damage.
Yeah, Gomez, White, Marisnik batting in the bottom third of the order. There's a fly ball to Michael Bourne backing up near the hill. Still on the run, and he's got it! Michael Bourne! The former Astro Gold Glover into the wall right next to Tal's Hill, and he makes a sensational running grab.
That is one of the best catches that you're going to see right there. And of course, familiarity here, yes. Michael Bourne gauges the ball, finds the spot, knows exactly where he's at on the track, and then cushions the blow as he hauls this in. I mean, that was just a fantastic play.
He won 2 Gold Gloves in this outfield, doing that in an Astros uniform.
Boy, that just saved the triple right there.
It did. Luis Valbuena, the third baseman, in now. Diamondbacks will put the again, it's not you, it's us if you're losing your picture at home. Replace your divots, not your televisions. 1-1. That one got Chris Herman.
Foul tip that came down. Looked like it got him in the knee area. Let's see. Well, right on the foot, the right foot. And there's a part of the shin guard that goes over to cover the feet, but sometimes it's just not going to be, it's not like it's strapped in, so it moves a little bit.
One out, bottom second. That pitch is in there for strike 2. That one is hit right into the shift. Gene Segura's on it. What a play. How about some D-back defense, Candy, here in this second?
I mean, that should have been a base hit. They already should have had a run in. Another guy at first base. This defense has been stellar. Gene Segura dives for this ball and robs Valbuena of a hit.
This is a Superman leap to smother this one. The shift was on. They tried to smash it right through the shift, but Segura was there for the second out. 4 in a row retired by Robbie Ray.
Boy, just tremendous. And that's a pitcher's dream right there. Michael Bourne, that's 2 steak dinners.
And watch Valbuena near the end of this. He's hobbling a bit.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
We'll have your picture back as soon as we can. There you go. This is away with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 1-0 on Gomez, who's hitting 185 without a home run.
This is the strobe light telecast we got going now.
That's right. Like the old B-52 song. Gomez activated from the DL before the game yesterday. Been out a couple of weeks with a left rib cage bruise. Singled, walked, and struck out twice Tuesday. That pitch is in there.
Probably chase.
Oh, he held off on.
Gomez has been a guy who has been striking out at tremendous numbers. He's striking out, in fact, more than 35%
of the time he's up there.
Very talented guy, with the average, the power, speed, all that stuff, but only a 185 average.
Just can't get it going. Missed away.
He's always been kind of a We've already seen his arm today. Made a nice throw.
It's the 3. Chris Owings stop. So some tremendous defense behind Rock.
Really played good defense. We've already seen his arm today. Made a nice throw.
It's the 3-2 pitch right to Chris Owings at shortstop. So some.
For the moment, as we start the 3rd inning, no score. The Diamondbacks at the Astros. Yasmani Tomas will lead it off against Houston right-hander Mike Fiers.
Yasmani with some good numbers against him. 2 for 3. He's got a home run against Fiers.
Yasmani had 2 hits yesterday against the Astros at Chase Field. There's a strike, 0-1. Fiers was in all kinds of trouble to start the ball game. He walked the first 2 batters he faced, then gave up the base hit, but the first 2 walks were eliminated on the bases. Yes, he went. Tomas down 0-2.
That's the aggressive approach that Tomas brings to the plate. He's up there ready to swing. He's not looking to see if it's a ball or a strike first, and that's why he ends up swinging the pitches that are out of the zone. That one was coming up and in on him.
And he's down to 265 with 6 homers. Yasmani opened the month of May with a 6-game hitting streak, but since then he's hitting about 160 in his last 16 games. Down 0-2.
Kind of a waste pitch. Changeup just kind of going down and away. You can afford to do that when you're a pitcher and you got multiple pitches like he has, and you got an aggressive hit.
So we have to throw.
Foul back. It'll stay 1-2 on Yasmani Tomas. And again, we apologize for the picture loss. We are fighting a severe Texas thunderstorm outside right now. So we're trying to hang in as best we can for you. Tomas. Swing and a miss. 3rd strikeout for Mike Fiers, who's retired 5 in a row.
And it went after him with sliders that time. This one goes down and away. Threw it in a good spot. Yasmani, see his head way out looking towards left field, and that ball was breaking away from him.
Brandon Drury steps in. I think you just like doing radio. I think that's why this is.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's like right now.
Your words paint the picture for us. First pitch to Brandon Drury in the right-hand batter's box is slammed off the Crawford boxes. Drury jumps on the first offering. Marisnick gets it back in there. And it's a hard single for Brandon Drury with one out in the third.
Boy, that ball was just posted to left field. Jumped all over this first pitch, and it's a fastball right in his wheelhouse. He buggy whipped that ball. The leg comes down, and man, he crashed it, and it was hit so hard. And a nice play by Marisnick, who gets this ball and just throws a pellet into second base and keeps him at first.
One out, Gene Segura walked and was thrown out by Evan Gattis attempting to steal in the first inning. What do you think, Sandy, Gene Segura brings to the ball club? What has he brought?
Well, I think he's really filled the spot of a leadoff hitter, which I don't know if that would have been A.J. Pollock this year or not, but the way he has gotten on base, he has set the table. He's done a nice job defensively for him.
Takes a pitch up and away that missed. 2-0 on Gene Segura.
You know, the one thing I thought that they might be able to do a lot more is run a little bit more. And he doesn't seem to really have gotten it going on the bases as far as base stealing.
Two and one. Well, Segura has come back to earth a little bit lately. He was not going to hit .353 all season like he was on May the 12th. And since then, he's hit about 200 in his last 16 games. So there was an inevitable backslide, but he's still in there at .306 to start the ball game.
I mean, really from about March 1st on, he was like 2 hits a game.
It was crazy.
It really was.
2-0 to Gene Segura. Drury holds it first. That's a fastball that misses inside. And Segura's ahead, 3 balls and no strikes. After walking his first time up against Fire.
Even when they signed Segura this year, I still wasn't sure if he was going to be on the club or not. But he has really earned his stripes and took over that job and solidified that leadoff spot.
Likely their best all-star candidate.
Yeah.
In there, first strike.
Loves hitting the ball the other way. There's a nice little gap in the infield. That's where he gets a lot of hits.
Well, we've managed to get you a copy of the Astros home feed with our audio underneath while we make sure our video is connected and plugged in. 3-2. Drury takes off. That's a base hit by Correa. Brandon Drury going to put the brakes on, stop at second. He's going to get back there. And he just does make it back. Brandon maybe not used to how short that left field is out there. Marisnick right behind him. But it's a base hit for Segura. A pair of one-out singles.
Segura pulls this ball. I think he's made a nice little adjustment thinking that Byers is going to pitch him inside. And he gets the head to the ball really quick, gets it through the left side. And you're right, Drury almost overran second base. And that would have been the third base running guy thrown out in this game.
Yeah, you can't keep making outs on the bases like that. Bourne walks his first time up against Fire.
Got something cooking right now. I like it.
Might be the guys in the truck. 1-0.
One of the things I love about Michael Bourne is he's such a professional hitter. I mean, he's not up there just trying to put the ball in play real quick. I mean, he's going to make you work. He's going to make you throw strikes. He's going to see your pitches. He's not afraid to hit deep in the count. He really works the pitcher. So frustrating as a pitcher, and you have a guy that does that, and then they win the at-bat.
Yeah, he's got that same knack for that Goldie seems to. When you get behind in the count, and suddenly you're ahead 3-2.
Yeah.
Or it's full, I should say. Drury at second, Segura at first. 1 out. 1-0 on Michael Bourne.
You expect that with Michael Bourne, unless he gets the pitch that he is looking for. He's not going to offer after it, unless he has to, unless he has 2 strikes.
Also a very good bunter. We saw him drop a bunt the other day on not an easy pitch to bunt. Right down the third base line.
The fly ball to left center. Gomez was over there anyway, backing up at the wall. And he makes a tremendous catch. Brandon Drury tags and goes second to third. A sensational grab high along the wall by Carlos Gomez in left center field.
Well, we are seeing some defense in this game already. We're only in the top of the third inning, and there has been some great plays. Another great one. Gomez robs him of a hit, an extra base hit, jumps up against that pad, and immediately gets that throw in and made it fairly close at third base.
Well, it looked for sure like that was going to bounce high off the wall and score at least one run. But a heads-up play by Drury to tag up second and third, so they're on the corners now. 2 outs for Goldie, who singled his first at bat.
Well, Diamondbacks haven't been that great hitting with runners in scoring position this year. You know, but this is the time right now where you really need to get a big hit. This could have been a huge inning. That was just a tremendous defensive play by Gomez.
So both pitchers have been bailed out in a sense by their defenders behind them. Diamondbacks in the bottom of the second inning made 2 spectacular defensive plays behind Robbie Ray. There's the strike to Goldie at 0-1.
You think Goldie, too, when he really gets that stroke going to right field in this ballpark, well, I think he could reach those seats with ease.
It gets deep on you quick out there in right center.
Yes.
Out where those bullpens are.
This ballpark, for your left-handed hitter, you learn how to inside out the ball, and you pepper that wall out in left field. It's almost like Fenway Park in a way.
Rolls away from Gaddis. Here comes Drury, and he is in there. 1-0 Diamondbacks. Segura moves up as well.
We'll take that any way you can get it. Looked like this ball should have been caught. Looked like it kicked right off the end of the glove of Gaddis. Trickle back. He couldn't get to it quite in time.
They rule it a wild pitch, charged to Mike Myers. Brings a run in, moves Segura into scoring position. And a 1-1 count on Paul Goldschmidt. Two balls and 1 strike. Three and 1.
When you watch this, watch what Gaddis is catching. You look at his right hand, and his right hand is very exposed. Now, when Chris Herman's right hand gets on, it's a lot more protected. You see a lot of catchers put that right hand even behind their back, Johnny Bench style. But when you really watch Gaddis, that right hand is right there. I'm surprised he doesn't get plunked more than he does.
A word with Myers. Behind on Goldie, 3 balls and 1 strike. Left field, Marisnik makes a diving catch. It's a night for defense at Minute Maid Park. The infielders and the outfielders, but the Diamondbacks get a run across. They lead it 1-0. Back in Houston, Diamondbacks lead the Astros 1-0. Robbie Ray out there. For the bottom of the third, he's retired 5 in a row. Tyler White, the DH, leads it off for Houston.
They got a couple of these hitters on the Astros. They look like lumberjacks. Gaddis is one.
Yeah, these guys look the same, Gaddis and White.
Tyler White, same way.
Except for the batting gloves, they're the same guy.
That looks like a toothpick in their hands.
1-1. White had a couple of singles in the first 2 games at Chase Field. Also struck out twice and hit into 2 double plays. Bites that one off, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
A lot of power this Astros team has. They can put a hurt on you with the long ball.
Down the line at third. Long throw for Lamb. Pulls Goldie off the bag. We have seen this candy too often.
You know, we've seen Jake Lamb make some just spectacular plays. And this one looked like a play he should have made. Just a ground ball. He backhanded it. And his throw drifts. And it pulled Goldie off, who tried to tag White going by, but couldn't get it.
Been occurring more and more frequently. There's a long throw for Jake. His foot was almost on the left field line. But you just got to protect Goldie. That's an E5. And White's aboard to lead off for third. Here's Jake Marisnick, the left fielder, who made that sensational catch to win the top half of the inning.
Yeah, be careful with this guy. He was jumping on a lot of first-pitch fastballs yesterday.
Bunch one, trying to get a base hit. Robbie Ray's got to hurry, and he makes a nice play to get Marisnick. Very well done by Robbie Ray. They move White along.
You don't see a whole lot of right-handed hitters trying to drag bunt, push bunt really to first base side, but Robbie Ray, who's a left-handed pitcher, and that's probably why he was trying to do it, because they fall off a little bit towards the third base side, but Robbie recovered very quickly, got to that ball, made a nice play.
So White is the runner at second with 1 out for the leadoff man, George Springer. They actually retired Springer in his first at bat. He grounded out to first.
And again, it looks like if you control the top of this order, the first 3 guys, you're going to do pretty well out there. And he did a nice job the first time through, other than the double to Altuve. I will say, though, you know, that when he's facing Correa, that fastball was explosive. I haven't seen that fastball really since the strikeout to Correa. He was 95, 96.
Back pocket a little bit. Well, they like Robbie to just go out there and attack, be aggressive, and last as long as he can. But if you adapt that mentality, you'll get quicker outs, you'll be more efficient, and you'll end up going deeper into the game anyway. That's the hope. It worked with Ruby De La Rosa. 2-1 on George Springer. This is away. 3 balls and a strike. Three and 0 count. We are working blind up here in the booth, so hang with us.
We'll take our blindfolds off.
Yeah. 3-0 pitch. That one misses. So they walk Springer first and second for the Astros. 1 down for Altuve.
That double that Altuve hit the first inning was his 900th hit. And this is the time where you need to get him out now. It's at the top of the order. This is the part that really does the damage. And you're right in the middle of it right now.
White is the runner at second, Springer at first. 1 away. Altuve doubled his first time up.
For Robbie Ray now, this is where you like to keep that fastball down. Try to get a ground ball. You're trying to induce a ground ball in this situation. Guys on first and second. That ground ball can get you out of this inning.
Well, falling behind on good hitters.
95 miles an hour, that one. Just kind of yanked it a little bit inside.
2-0 on Jose Altuve. 6 consecutive balls from Robbie Ray. White is at second, Springer at first. And there's more trouble on deck. Carlos Correa. .40 pitches for Robbie, only 21 strikes. Missed again, and it's 3-0.
He'll have the green light if he gets one he likes.
Back-to-back walks for Robbie Ray. 8 consecutive balls. Mike Butcher, the pitching coach. Ray has loaded the bases with only 1 out for Carlos Correa.
This is big trouble right now.
Well, Chip Hale was saying before the game today, they really need Robbie to pitch competitively tonight, keep the Diamondbacks in the game. The middle of the bullpen is very tired after the first 2 games in this series. So the deeper Robbie can go tonight, the better. He's got to find a way to work himself out of this mess.
Yeah, and especially with Greinke going tomorrow, you're expecting a good outing out of Zach. But yeah, you'd like to have a nice one right here. He's starting to fight himself right now. He's got some really good defensive plays behind him. But right now, again, we talk about situational pitching. This is one of those at-bats that could dictate the outcome of this game.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Carlos Correa struck out his first time up. Robbie in that at-bat was able to get it up to 96 and get aggressive. Let's see how they attack Correa here. First pitch is fouled away. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, 0-1.
And good location with that one. A little bit down, a little bit away. Wasn't in the heart of the plate. And, you know, good hitters in situations like this, they become aggressive hitters.
Boy, could he ever use a ground ball right here. 1-1.
Pretty much stay with the hard stuff to Correa, just like he did his first at-bat.
White is at third, Springer at second, Altuve at first. Correa has hit into 4 double plays this year.
Those middle infielders are playing back. Throw that ground ball to shortstop right now.
That would be a gift from the baseball gods for the Diamondbacks here. Herman wants to get together with Robbie Ray.
Chris Herman, when he's behind the plate catching, he really gets into the game calling part of it. In my experience, all the backup catchers, and when it's their time to play, they're the ones that really, you know, that's like their football Sunday right there. This is their time, and I always love throwing to those guys.
2 balls and 1 strike.
Big pitch coming up. Do not want to go to 3-1. You do not want to groove one either.
So what do you do?
Well, you try to hit the corner. This is where you got to be on the edges. Outside edge, down.
Last 11 pitches, 10 balls and 1 strike from Robbie Ray. 2-1 to Correa. 2-2.
Nice pitch. On the edge, down and away. He was aggressive in that swing in that moment and fouled that ball off.
ball 3.
That's too bad. That was a great pitch. The last pitch was outside. Herman moves inside, drills the glove.
Oh, man.
Box-Trax has it as a ball, but that was a great pitch.
Bases full of Astros. 1 away. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Carlos Correa. Got him. Robbie Ray with a big-time strikeout. He gets Correa for the 2nd time. 2 down.
Boy, what a pitch. He goes out, then inside, now back outside. He chases this ball way off the plate away, but he uses aggressiveness against him that time and got the strikeout.
Clutch.
And thank you.
One more big out to get. Evan Gattis. Gattis grounded out to 3rd in his first at bat.
You're not out of trouble right now with this guy.
He's hitting .325 versus left-hand pitching this year, Evan Gattis, including 3 home runs. Boy, just took the big lumberjack swing at that one.
Yes, he did.
1-1 like he's chopping wood.
Dude, that was a well-located fastball, dude. That one was down. That was a good pitcher's pitch. But, again, when hitters see the bases juice, they see guys out there, man, they want to hit.
Robbie at 50 pitches, 25 balls, and 25 strikes. 1-1 on Evan Gattis. 97 from Robbie Ray. Really humped it up there that time. He's ahead 1-2.
I'd like to see him go right back up there with good stuff. Up high.
Well, you got him set up for that slider or that changeup if you want to.
Yep. The slider, as long as he stays on top of it, drives it down and in.
He's a guy that strikes out a lot. Left it up, though. Gattis missed it.
You're exactly right. That wasn't supposed to be the slider, but again, he didn't stay on top of it, and that ball hung up right over the middle of the plate. And when you see a hitter get underneath your slider and foul back, that's just thank you for not hitting that out of the park.
Dodged a big-time bullet there. This guy will smash it through the window if he connects. A strike away. Got him! Robbie Ray gets Correa and Gattis and leaves them loaded. Big time pitching from Robbie Ray, and it stays 1-0 D-backs.
What would we be?
It's the Diamond
thunderstorm. We have borrowed the Astros video for our feed. Candy and I'll remain on the call. So it's a little mix and match here as we fight the weather. Jake Lamb leads off the fourth, so you're looking at Astros pictures with a Diamondback narrative.
We're mixing and matching.
What we got to do. It is really nasty outside right now. Jake struck out his first time up. And there against Mike Fiers, the shift is on for you. Boy, Candy, how about Robbie Ray? I mean, you can't get more clutch than that.
Can't. Correa, now he's got him twice. Both times with runners in scoring position, and then put Gaddis away. You could tell he turned it up a notch, too. It was awesome.
Two and one on Jake Lamb.
Yeah, high fastball. Get on top of that one.
Fiers coming off a rough outing in Anaheim last Friday. 7 runs, 8 hit. He lasted only 3 2/3. In fact, it was his worst start since he became an Astro after his trade from Milwaukee at the deadline last year. Well, Jake's had it going lately. He's hit safely in 9 straight games and 12 of his last 13. And a very solid month of May at the plate.
Using the whole field also. Bombs to right field, but he hit the ball to left field at times also.
Just did get a piece to stay alive that time. But they still, every team does, Candy, still shifts on him, even though he has a very good left center field approach.
Change at that time. Just got a piece of it, like you said. The infield shifting, and Carlos Gomez out a little bit towards left center.
Goes the other way. Valbuena, the third baseman from the shortstop spot. The only guy over there throws it out. 5-3 on the putout. One away in the fourth.
A little shocked at that. A lot of teams will have that shortstop stay there at shortstop and play, especially when you got a good guy like Correa.
Yeah, it's interesting. Everybody has a different philosophy about that. I guess it depends on your personnel. But, yeah, more often than not, they will move the shortstop over and leave the third baseman by himself. Minute Maid Park in Houston. Hal Till out there in center field. We've seen some spectacular defense so far tonight. The DH, Ricky Weeks Jr. Excuse me, check swing. Evan Gaddis going to have to hurry. And he throws out Weeks. Nicely done by the Astros catcher. 2 outs.
Jumped out of the box and did a little pop-up slide to get that ball and made a nice throw. Check swing by Ricky Weeks. Excuse me, and got out of the box well, though. And Gaddis recovered on it, made a nice play.
Yeah, Gaddis, a big burly guy, but he's looking like he moves pretty well back there.
He was agile.
Sure was. Chris Herman. Astros will keep the shift on, and there's strike 1 to Chris, who grounded out his first time up. Fiers has retired 4 in a row. Breaking ball is in there for a strike to Sean Barber. And it's 0-2 on Chris.
When Mike Fiers first came up with the Brewers, that was really his go-to pitch, was that curveball. It was outstanding, but he's developed all the other ones to go with it.
We saw Gaddis show Fiers the target there. He wanted that one up. Another case of Fiers trying to elevate, but Herman doesn't bite. It stays 1-2.
He might be trying to change our eye angle a little bit. He comes back with that hook. Curveball down.
Able to lay off 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chris went 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts in the first 2 games against A.J. Hinch's Astros. Should be a good matchup for Chris Herman, don't you think?
I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, those last 2 pitches, he's seen well. He laid off that high fastball and laid off the curveball in the dirt. Chris isn't afraid to let the ball travel. He's not afraid to hit deep in the count. He'll hit the ball the other way.
Lays off that one. Full count, 3-2. Dunham fires, gets his 4th strikeout, works a 1-2-3-4, but the Diamondbacks have a 1-0 lead.
D-backs 4th.
And follow us on Twitter. Stay connected with Root Sports.
It's a thunderstorm outside the ballpark in downtown Houston, so we are borrowing for the moment the Astros home TV feed so we can have some pictures of the ball game. Candy and I here on the call. Bob Brenly is being a grandpa in Chicago, so Candy is with us for the 2 games here at Minute Maid Park. Marwin Gonzalez leads off the Astros 4th against Robbie Ray. Candy, the downside for Robbie, who did a tremendous job to strike out Correa and Gaddis and end that 3rd inning, leaving the bases loaded, is that he's had to throw a lot of pitches, and a lot of pitches in high leverage situations.
Yeah, that's always the key. Sometimes you fight yourself as a pitcher. Other times, well, you really got to turn it up a notch. That heartbeat goes up, the heart rate goes up, and it takes a lot out of you. That last inning was a fairly long inning. Of course, started with the error.
Yeah.
But, he worked his way out of it and then finished up real strong.
He had that one stretch where he walked Springer and Altuve back-to-back and on 8 pitches and just couldn't throw a strike. And he's thrown, let's see, 30 strikes and 26 balls. So it's been a struggle to find a strike zone so far. And he's just been throwing way too many pitches lately anyway. Robbie has won once in his last 7 starts. In 5 of those starts, he's thrown at least 97 pitches, but he's only completed 6 innings 1 time. So hopefully he can get a nice quick 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, he could use a couple quick ones.
Ahead of Marwin Gonzalez, a ball and 2 strikes. Why is it, do you think, Candy, that Robbie occasionally has trouble putting guys away when he's ahead in 2-strike counts? It's foul ball, foul ball, foul ball, and the pitch count rises, and it's a long, extended at bat.
Yeah, I mean, he's got such great stuff. He shouldn't struggle as much as he does putting guys away, but I think sometimes with his, and we saw that pitch even with Gaddis, the slider that he tried to bury, but he left it up over the plate and fouled back. He's got to get on top of those.
Right field, Drury and Segura out there. Brandon Drury has it.
A lot of fastballs that have been fouled off, but again, those are up in the zone. And I think sometimes when you're throwing the ball completely up in the zone like that, you're starting to drift. And when you drift like that, your arm doesn't quite catch up with your body, and the ball ends up being up in the zone. And that's where you get a lot of foul balls. You don't see as many guys fouling pitches off that are down, good fastballs that are down. Those usually turn into ground balls for the most part.
So the pitch is up, they get under it just a little bit, and they stay alive.
They see it a little bit better up there and just get a piece of it. Now, there's times to elevate, but I think the more you can live downstairs and the more you can live on the edge, the better success you're going to be. That's a great pitch. a good, crisp fastball right where your catcher wanted it.
Luis Valbuena grounded out his first time. Diamondbacks have the shift on. Owings, the shortstop, the only guy on the left-hand side. Just inside, 2-1. Here's a look at the defensive alignment for the Diamondbacks. Jake Lamb, the third baseman, right in front of second base umpire Chris Conroy. 3-1.
That ball he missed so far, he almost hit the batter, and Chris Herman barely got to that ball. He didn't catch that, probably would have got the umpire right in the mug.
The 6th 3-ball count in the game for Robbie Ray through 3 1/3. He's walked 2. Big cut at that one, 95 from Robbie. And it's a full count.
And when you throw a 3-1 fastball by a guy, and he swings and misses, doesn't look like he's really even on it, come back again with it.
Bounced into the shift. Segura from the outfield grass. Ground ball out for Robbie Ray, 2 down. Brings up Carlos Gomez.
And that was the low fastball, and that generates the ground ball. And I think if he can do more of that, especially early in the count, he can have those quick innings that you're hoping for.
Just trying to find a way to become more efficient. Well, I guess the first step in that is to just essentially throw strikes, right? Wouldn't that be step 1?
Throw strikes and throw it down. Those quality strikes.
That's going to get in the seats and out of play.
And see that fastball again, about belt high or maybe a little elevated. It's fouled off. And when he starts to lose some life, when his pitch count gets up, or if he has an extended inning, then those high fastballs, you lose the life a little bit and they flatten out on you.
He's ahead of Gomez, 0-2. With consistent mid to upper 90s velocity tonight from Robbie.
Yeah, he's really bringing it tonight.
Yeah. Gomez just does fight that one off to stay alive.
Late. High fastball again, late on it, just trying to keep himself alive. Emergency swing. This is one guy I think you can waste a pitch on here. That's a good pitch.
Why so?
It gives him a chance to get himself out swinging it because he's a very aggressive hitter. And just judging by the last pitch, a little bit slow, and that ball was out of the zone. Throw him another ball. Drop one on the plate. But now don't go to 2-2 here. Go right after. Put him away here.
He slams it out to Tomas, who'll play it off the wall. Gomez will stop at first, a 2-out single.
Again, this was a slider, and this slider was located right over the heart of the plate. You see, he's late on your fastball, so if you throw a slider that's going to hang up there, it's going to turn into that kind of result.
Well, Gomez hit it so hard he broke the scoreboard.
He did. I mean, he got a pitch that was elevated, had nothing on it, and he shattered the scoreboard. Jose Asmani got up back into second base, probably about the same time he hit first.
Good job by Tomas to get that in quickly, keep Gomez at first. 2-out single, Tyler White now, just the second hit for the Astros. Swing and a miss. This is another guy that's going to swing for the downs.
Lumberjack swing. His career's done playing baseball. He's going to turn into a professional softball player. He's got that look.
He's got the beer league look, doesn't he?
Yep.
Tyler White, the DH. Reached on a Jake Lamb throwing error his first time up. Keep an eye on Gomez down there as well. He has stolen 5 bases in 7 attempts this year.
And Robbie's done a good job this year. He's only given up 2 stolen bases in 3 attempts. Last year, though, he did give up 11 stolen bases.
What's the best way to control the runners around you out there?
Hold the ball. Hold the ball. Take some of the sting out of the step.
Gomez takes off the throw from Herman. Not in time. Carlos Gomez, his 6th stolen base.
Well, Gomez has gotten into this game. Out there, made a great defensive play. He got a hanging slider. He just pelted off the wall. So he's feeling right now. So now he's going to turn into a base stealer, and he gets a good jump.
A little bit of a high throw from Chris.
Yeah, and it's quick. He had a quick release. The throw was up there. There's a bang-bang play there, and he just barely got in.
But it's a 1-2 count on Tyler White. Astros 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. That one almost got him.
And turned him around. So that's an effective pitch. That's a big swing. That'll keep from diving.
Now, does that set you up for a breaking ball away?
I would like him to stay with that fastball. He's had a good fastball away on the edge. I mean, tonight I've seen the fastball has been his best pitch. When he's got into a jam, he's gotten guys out with the fastball. That last slider that he threw to Gomez, trying to put away, he's just not consistent with it yet. He's thrown some good ones, but he's thrown some like that. So I think he's got to stay with his best pitch here, which is going to be his fastball. Oh, it looked like it came up and got him in the head.
Yeah.
Good pitch, though. The slider, he got good tilt on that one and kept it down.
Oh, I hit him underneath the bill of the helmet.
Had him out front, too. You can see him lunging out there. But he did make contact, kept himself alive.
And he gets another strikeout. Good job by Robbie, stranding another Astros base runner. That's 4 strikeouts for Ray, who's still got a 1-0 lead. Back at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Diamondbacks lead the Astros 1-0. And Chris Owings will lead off the 5th inning against Houston right-hander Mike Fiers, who's retired the last 5 he's faced. Chris struck out looking his first time up.
Good time for the D-backs to add on right now. Break it open a little bit.
Only 3 hits, all singles against Fiers. He's also walked 2 and struck out 4.
Discipline there by CO. Curveball, just kind of threw it out there, hoping he could get him to lunge at it. He's just a frustrating pitcher for a hitter because he's got the assortment of pitches. He throws up, drops the curveball. It doesn't seem like he's giving you anything over the middle of the plate.
Well, when your fastball maxes out at 90, you've got to be, I guess, a crafty righty.
Yeah, you're not there to challenge guys. You'll challenge them with your off-speed pitches, your breaking ball, your changeup.
Valbuena at third. Nice scoop there by Marwin Gonzalez. 6 in a row retired by Fiers.
That cutter that time, and CO just kind of rolled over the top of it instead of driving that ball to right center. A little bit out in front, jumped on it, and the ground ball to the left side of the infield.
Yasmani Tomas, a strikeout victim his first time up. What are you seeing from Tomas these days, Candy?
Well, the first thing you think of, he's a very aggressive swinger. I mean, he's swinging at everything. He's not disciplined. He likes going after the first pitch.
I mean, like that?
First pitch changeup. You know, that's down in the dirt. You know, so he's just, you know, he just wants to put the ball in play. And pitchers are going to feed off that. Intelligent pitchers, intelligent catchers are going to feed off his aggressiveness.
So how would they do that? Just no fastballs, let him get himself out?
Yeah, just like a changeup down, that second pitch, a curveball down and away in the dirt. See if he'll swing at that one. There'll be cutters. He'll live on the edges. You know you don't have to come over the plate to throw a strike.
Knocks that one into center. A one-out single for Tomas. 4th hit for the Diamondbacks. Brings up Brandon Drury.
That time that ball was over the middle of the plate, a fastball. And he hit it right back where it came from. Smoked it over his head. See, some hitters, you don't have to throw strikes to get them out.
You look great.
Hey.
That's thanks to our friends at Root Sports who are helping us out with our video portion of the broadcast as the truck is either underwater or was destroyed by lightning.
I think it floated away.
It may have. I think it's down in Waco right now. Is that near here? No.
We don't have no idea, right?
The truck, it might be in the Gulf of Mexico anyway. Strike one to Brandon Drury.
Drury absolutely busted one his last time up off the wall.
He has scored the game's only run. Single, scored on a wild pitch. That one fooled him badly. He's down 0-2.
Nasty curveball that time. Talk about a 12-6. Slow breaker ball, all kinds of tilt to it. Brandon's head was looking towards that left field wall on it.
Able to check his swing that time as Fiers bounces one. There are times where you want to throw it in the dirt, right? If you're a pitcher?
Oh, yeah. Said some of the hitters that are aggressive, and especially once you get ahead in the count. Go ahead and give him a chance to chase the ball out of the zone, get a cheap out, easy out. Young hitters especially, they don't like to hit with 2 strikes on them.
Brandon back even, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You watch Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, how many times last year did we say, well, the count's 3-2 on Goldie? You know, he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes at top his hitters. Joey Votto, you know, a lot of the real good hitters, they're not afraid to hit with 2 strikes.
That's the hole that Gomez made when he banged one off the scoreboard out there. Our friends at Root Sports having a little fun. That's like the Pudge Fist shot through the scoreboard at Fenway Park. Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. There it is, the broken scoreboard. That was a result of the Gomez single in the home half of the fourth. Tomas takes off. Drury takes strike 3, and that's the strike him out, throw him out. That ends the inning. Drury looked at strike 3. Gaddis, who's already thrown out Gene Segura trying to steal, throws out Tomas, and it stays 1-0 Diamondbacks.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by Authority.
Steve Berthume and Tom Candiotti with you. Our truck is underwater outside. So we are borrowing our pictures from our friends at Root Sports. They are watching the Astros feed and listening to the Diamondback feed as we patch this thing together. On the ground to Owings at shortstop. One away. Nice quick out number 1 for Robbie Ray.
Yeah, that's a thank you very much there. Saw Marisnick yesterday going after a lot of first pitch fastballs, and that one was down. We're talking about throw the fastball down early in the count. Instead of a foul ball, he gets a ground ball.
Well, here's where you have your work cut out for you. The big 3 in the lineup, the top 3, Springer, Altuve, and Correa. Springer has grounded out, walked 0 for 1. It's been 8 games since George Springer was moved into the leadoff spot by A.J. Hinch, and in those 8 games, he's hit about .460, 3 doubles, 3 homers. He scored 7 times and knocked in 8. That one got Chris Herman.
And again, look at the swing on that pitch. That ball looked like more of a breaking ball than a slider this time, and it was up in the zone about belt high. I'd like to be a catcher.
No, thank you.
I mean, right in the mug. Someone's got to come up with shock absorbers in those masks.
Chris, of course, as we mentioned earlier, a native of the Houston area. He's got about 25 friends and family in the ballpark with us tonight. 1-1 to Springer. Here's another one of those big swings, Candy. 1-2.
Yeah, big long swing that time. That good fastball ends up beating him.
Defense straight away. Well, let's see how long it takes Robbie, hopefully, to retire this hitter. He was ahead with a 2-strike count. 10 times tonight, Robbie Ray has gotten a Houston hitter to 2 strikes, but it's taken, in those 10 at-bats, 20 pitches to end the AB, when all he needed was 1 more strike. Working too hard to get these outs, but he strikes out Springer. 5 strikeouts for Robbie. 2 down in the 5th.
Slider up out over the plate. Earlier in the bat, I thought it was a curveball. This is more like a slider to me. Right on the outside corner.
2 down for Altuve. He has doubled and walked.
A quick peek over Jake Lamb there. Brought Lamb in a couple steps.
Well, as we've mentioned in this series, you have to work harder to get Altuve out these days. He has become a much more complete hitter. Very selective now. Used to be the kind of guy that swung at anything. Now he'll take his walks.
Yeah, I think he's got more walks than strikeouts this year. And you have to be careful now. If you do walk him, he will steal. Oh yeah, very efficient at it.
Leading the American League in stolen bases, in fact. But A.J. Hinch was saying that they've watched Altuve, better pitch selection, the plate discipline. He says it's not a gentle step forward, it's a giant leap forward with Altuve. He's really taken it to the next level. That's a fair ball by a diving Jake Lamb. It caroms off the corner out there. And Altuve is in there with his second double tonight and his 20th on the year.
He's having a night. He's having a series against the Diamondbacks. Ball was down. Not a bad pitch at all. He just golfed it and somehow got it by Lamb, who was diving for that ball. Altuve, with that great speed, he gets into scoring position at second base.
He's had 2 hits in all 3 games in this series so far.
I mean, not a bad pitch. That's frustrating for a pitcher. I think you make a good pitch like that, down in the dirt, he golfs it, gets a double.
He's at second with 2 outs for Carlos Correa, who has struck out twice, the last time with the bases loaded. Strike 1. Robbie getting ahead in the count. 93 miles an hour on that fastball.
He has had Correa's number for sure.
Correa hitting only .211 versus left-hand pitchers this year. That's a bit of a mystery. Does not have an extra base hit versus a lefty all season.
That's an amazing stat in itself right there.
For a guy of this level of talent, the reigning AL Rookie of the Year. Pushes that one foul down the right field line. 1-2.
Late on the fastball again.
And again, Robbie's ahead in the count with 2 strikes. This is right where you want to be. The question is, Candy, how long will it take to get this out?
Yeah, I want to put him away right now. 89 pitches thrown. Here in the 5th inning.
It's upstairs, 2-2.
That's going over 16 pitches an inning.
Robbie at 90 pitches, 52 strikes. That's a base hit. Altuve is coming home. The throw from Drury is not in time. And the Astros tie the ball game. Carlos Correa with a 2-out RBI hit, and it's 1-1.
Line shot to right field. Pretty good pass on the ball.
That was a great throw by Drury. They had a play on there. He just beat the throw.
And Altuve's got all kinds of speed, had a great secondary jump. And he was not going to stop, and Drury put this ball right on the money. A good one-hop strike right to her. It was just a little late. A lot of other runners are out.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's your American League stolen bases leader right there, so he can run. And he got it by a step. Mike Butcher out to the mound now. So Correa moves into scoring position on the throw, and it was a good one from Brandon. And that'll bring up Evan Gattis. He has grounded out, struck out 0 for 2.
Look at you want to work down in the zone 2 here.
The first hit for the Astros with a runner in scoring position. They're 1 for 6. And Robbie, who got the first 2 outs in this inning and had 2 strike counts on both Altuve and Correa. A pair of 2-out hits to tie the ball game.
Yeah.
Tie the ball game.
Yeah, 1 pitch away, really. Having a 1-2-3 inning. Turns into tying the game up. And you're in trouble still.
Yep. Dallas sends it out to left field, and that's gone.
That's a big, strong man right there.
His 6th of the year. It's 3-1 Houston.
Looked to me like it was a changeup, had him out front. And all he did was put the barrel of the bat to the ball. Kept his hands back, kind of lost his backside, but his hands were back just long enough and gets this ball elevated out of the ballpark.
Just missed hitting it on the train tracks up there. 3-1 Astros. Marwin Gonzalez, a double, a single, a home run, all with 2 outs. Brandon Drury going to have to play that on a hop. Make it 4 straight 2-out hits for Houston.
It's caving in right now on Robbie Ray.
One more look at the Gaddis homer.
Amazing how far that ball went. And he didn't even get good extension on it. Just put some backspin on it.
Diamondback bullpen will get busy down there. The bullpen for the Diamondbacks is out in left center field behind a couple of garage doors, so it's not easy for us to see in there. But we can tell there is somebody that's just starting to throw right now, a right-hander.
A couple garage doors with some windows.
Yeah, that's what it is. Luis Valbuena will be the hitter for Houston. Valbuena homered yesterday. Looks like Jake Barrett warming up in the Diamondback bullpen, the right-hander. Valbuena has grounded out twice, 0 for 2. Third time through the lineup, Candy. Opponents against Robbie Ray are hitting better than .350.
Yeah, and that's showing through right here. Boy, just frustrating when you have 2 outs, nobody on, 1 strike away, and boom.
1-2.
And another thing for the Diamondbacks, it seems like these big crooked numbers, these 3-run innings, seem to be happening with a lot of frequency.
Is that just a fluke, or does it tell you something about the pitching staff?
Well, so usually is 3-run innings that you try to avoid at all costs. Yeah. I mean, that's give up a run here or even 2, but 3 runs, those are hard to overcome.
Diamondbacks will adjust the shift defensively. Lamb over in the second base spot, Owens at shortstop, and Segura on the outfield grass and right. Gonzalez takes off, and there is no throw.
Had a great jump on Robbie Ray. Just a great jump.
6th stolen base of the year for Marwin Gonzalez.
He had a good pitch to throw, Herman did, but no use.
Yeah, the shift was on. Jake was maybe a step or 2 late getting to the bag.
You know, that's one of the problems with the shift, too. You're asking someone different to cover the bag out there that they're not used to. It's a little bit different element.
So now with the runner at second, they'll take the shift off. Lamb back by the third base bag, and Valbuena waves at that one. 6 strikeouts for Robbie Ray, but the Astros get 3. They lead it 3-1. Back at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Diamondbacks trail the Astros 3-1 as we start the 6th inning. Gene Segura leads it off against Mike Fiers, who now has a 3-1 lead. We are borrowing our video component from our friends at Root Sports. We want to thank them for their help as our truck outside the ballpark is underwater. A flash flood thunderstorm blew through here just before the game started. So we have Astros pictures and Diamondback audio. Steve Berthiaume and Tom Candiotti here sitting in for Bob Brentley.
It's all mixed up.
Segura has walked and singled. Ahead 2 balls and no strikes. Sky high pop up behind the mound. Valbuena. Altuve calls him off. What a way.
Altuve came all the way in from second base. And that was just a little bit past the mound on the shortstop side to call off Gonzalez to make that play, or Valbuena to make that play.
Michael Bourne. Michael has walked and flied out, the Houston native and former Astro back in town.
Now let's see if the D-backs can get something going. 3rd time through the order.
Against a pitcher who has struggled as of late, and Mike Fiers. Fiers was acquired by the Astros from Milwaukee along with Carlos Gomez at the trade deadline last year. He pitched really well in his first half season with Houston after the All-Star break last season. In fact, he threw a no-hitter in his 4th start after he joined the Astros right here at Minute Maid Park. He no-hit the Dodgers. Walked 3, struck out 10, threw a career-high 134 pitches to get the no-no. The first ever in this ballpark's history.
Michael did not like that call. He thought it was up.
Sean Barber, the plate umpire. And Barber is yelling into the Diamondback dugout. That's enough. Well, that's supposed to be a strike.
Yep, way up there. I'm with you, Mike.
He's hearing it from the D-back dugout. Stays 1-2.
And that really bothers guys that really have a very good understanding of the strike zone. They're looking at balls and making a pitcher throw strikes, and then a ball that's obviously not even on the edge of the upper part of the zone, but well above it, gets called a strikeout.
And it ends up like that. Yeah, Michael Bourne, the way we've seen him work counts, he has an excellent knowledge of the strike zone. The Fiers caught a break that time, his 6th strikeout.
A lot of hitters will tell you, he just took the bat out of my hands on that one. Gave him an extra strike. It could have been a ball, and it changes the pitch selection. Gets a change up there instead of maybe something else, and strikes out.
2 down for Goldie. Well, this is what Fiers is supposed to be doing. He's gotten the 3-1 lead handed to him. We talk about it all the time. It's a big goal for Tony La Russa all the time, what he calls the shutdown inning. When you get that lead, get the next 3 hitters 1, 2, 3, and that's what Fiers is doing ahead of Goldie 0-1. Make it 0-2. Goldie has singled and flied out. Jake Marisnick out there in left field for the Astros, just in front of those Crawford boxes. Gomez, the center fielder. They've got Springer in right.
Pretty athletic outfield.
A lot of room out there for Goldie in left center field. That's not normally where he hits the ball, but there's a lot of green grass out there right now. All right, well, the other one to Bourne was a strike. That one wasn't.
High cutter that time, and that even had the edge of it. Yeah, didn't get called.
Well, he's close to pulling what we call a Goldie when he's down 0-2 or 1-2 and works the count back full. Leading the major leagues in walks, Paul Goldschmidt.
Anything can happen in this ballpark. Just get some base runners. Fiers pitching from the stretch.
Tried to go inside but missed, and he's pulled to Goldie. It's 3-2.
Another good take. This looked like it had a lot of the plate. Fires are staring in, but off the plate. Good call. And a good eye by Goldie.
Called strike 3. He dropped it in there, and Goldie will have a discussion with Sean Barber. That's 2 shaky at-bats by the plate umpire in that inning for the Diamondbacks. Fiers has got 7 strikeouts.
Here's one for all.
Download it now from your app store. Go to dbacks.com/vote to cast your all-star vote.
Bottom 6th inning in Houston. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks on in relief of Robbie Ray. It's the right-hander Jake Barrett. And Carlos Gomez leads off the inning for the Astros.
Wild swing on that slider. First pitch. He doesn't like to get cheated.
He doesn't ever. He might miss a lot, but he doesn't get cheated. Shows bunt, pulls back, takes ball 1. Jake Barrett, 19 2/3 innings in relief this year. He has more strikeouts than hits allowed. He last worked yesterday against Houston through 12 pitches.
Just a 5-inning outing by Robbie Ray. Again, pitch count got him.
Sure did. Now in his last 8 starts, counting tonight, has completed 6 innings only 1 time. Pitcher spot is due up 3rd in the. Oh, there's no pitcher. Hello, we're using the DH.
It used to be.
Yeah, there used to be. As he gets Gomez to strike out.
Nice slider that time.
Astros bullpen is getting busy.
First batter efficiency is always important. I don't care if it's a guy leading off the inning or if you're bringing him in the middle of an inning. Such an important stat for a reliever, and that was a good one by Jake Barrett. They struggled yesterday getting first batters out.
Tyler White has reached on an error and struck out, the DH today. So the Diamondbacks are into their bullpen. Astros bullpen is busy right now. Mike Fiers has 7 strikeouts. He's given up only 4 hits. Popped him up. Segura from the edge of the outfield grass. 2 up, 2 down for Barrett. That brings up Jake Marisnick, the left fielder.
Barrett comes right after you. Basically slider and fastball, but that fastball got right on White. Got right in there and could do nothing with it. That was a great pitch.
Seems like he's not throwing that splitter that he picked up earlier in the year as much as he was before.
And And that would be a great pitch for him, too, if he gets that splitter going again. Because that was, when he first brought that out, that was lethal.
Yeah, it looked nasty and filthy and all those things. Marisnick 0 for 2.
Might have been it right there. Heard you.
Let's take a look. He had it up, but he left it inside, which is fine. This is Sky to Brandon Drury on the warning track in right field. Good job by Jake Barrett. A quick 1-2-3 inning. We'll head to the 7th. Diamondbacks trail at 3-1. T-Mobile brings you greater coverage, news and notes around baseball. Here are various news and notes. Felix Hernandez went on the DL for the Mariners today. Julio Urias is going to get another shot for the Dodgers. He'll start tomorrow at Wrigley Field against the Cubs.
And Jake Arrieta just rolling along.
Boy, he's dominating everybody. New pitcher for the Astros as we start the 7th inning. It's the right-hander Ken Giles. And he's had a very disappointing year. The ERA is over 6.25. And this is a guy they basically sold the farm to get. They acquired him from the Phillies last December for 5 players. He was going to be the closer, but it has not worked out at all. So Gregerson has been the closer, as we saw yesterday, and Giles is just trying to get straight 0-2 and 25 appearances with that 6.33 ERA.
And he's been the guy that Houston thought they had. This is going to be the swing and miss guy down there.
Yeah.
You know, with a good velo. And
I mean, the way that they put this team together, they thought he was going to be the final piece. They gave up 5 good youngsters to get him, and it just hasn't worked out. So hopefully that trend continues. Jake Lamb leads off the 7th. He's 0 for 2.
Well, overall, this Houston bullpen has been really, really effective, though, at least in the month of May. Good pitch that time on the slider in May. The team's record 17-12, but the bullpen's ERA 2.23. They led MLB ERA-wise anyway.
Well, they had Gregerson, who they wanted to convert into a setup guy, but he's closed before and is doing a good job this year. And Giles comes in, strikes out Lamb.
He gets on the last 2 pitches with breaking balls.
3 of the last 5 Diamondback hitters have K'd. Brings up Ricky Weeks Jr., who's the DH. Another look.
Slider just spikes it. Jake just doesn't recognize that pitch early enough and thinks it's a fastball and ends up being a slider. He's way out front.
Well, Giles is only 25 years old. He had electric stuff with the Phillies last year. 69 appearances and a 1.80 ERA. He just blew guys away. Worked 70 innings, had 87 strikeouts. So they figured they'd make the big move, get the closer, and off you go, but it just hasn't gone according to plan, at least not yet. '97 is in there for a strike, 1-1.
He's got the arm, no doubt about it.
Chip Hale told us today that Ricky Weeks Jr. will likely DH not only tonight but again tomorrow afternoon. He was not going to talk Goldie into DH, and Goldie told him he feels great physically right now, so really there's no need, and he hates DHing anyway, so a chance to get Ricky Weeks Jr. a couple of starts in a row.
Well, Goldie wants to play.
Giles ahead, a ball and 2 strikes.
Probably got to get another breaking ball after those last 2 swings.
He did not go. That's Ron Culpa down there at first.
Your slider looked like he spiked way out. What a nice block by Gaddis that time.
He's done a good job back there, Evan Gaddis.
He really has. And of course, he got the big blow in this game.
That's right. That 2-run home run off Robbie Ray in the 5th inning, his 6th of the year. Ricky Weeks gets that up in the air. Sprayer on a long run, going to have to come in. It drops in there. Weeks hustling, heads for second, and Ricky Weeks Jr. is out. That's the 3rd out in this ball game the Diamondbacks have run into on the bases.
That was a tremendous throw that time by Springer, who ran a long ways, got this ball with his momentum going towards the stands, throws the ball into second base. And it looked like they tagged. I thought Ricky was going to be safe. And it looked like they might have tagged him on the back of the legs.
Well, there will be no challenge from the Diamondbacks. Yeah, he clearly got him on the leg before the hand got to the bag. So Ricky trying for that hustle double is out by a step. 2 down for Chris Herman, the catcher.
There's really been some defense in this game, I tell you that.
Outstanding from both sides. Oh, 1 on Herman, who was grounded out and struck out. Chris 0 for 7 so far in this series against the Astros. Hitless in the first 2 games at Chase Field. And he strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. 2 strikeouts in the beginning for Giles. We stretch in Houston. Diamondbacks trail at 3-1. ballpark in Houston. Steve Berthume and Tom Candiotti with you, at least the audio portion of the program. Our truck is floating down the Rio Grande River right now as we were hit with a major Texas thunderstorm right outside the ballpark as the game started. And so we are borrowing the video portion of our broadcast from our friends at Root Sports in Houston. And again, we want to thank them for their help. New pitcher for the D-backs as we start the home half of the 7th deep in the heart of Texas. Here's the right-hander Daniel Hudson, 21 appearances, that 1.31 ERA. Only 3 runs on 10 hits allowed, Candy, in nearly 21 innings. He has been their best relief pitcher this year.
Oh, by far. He has just been tremendous. And, you know, a good guy, a hard worker. And I tell you what, every time he comes into the game, well, you feel real secure about what he's going to give you.
Huddy worked both Saturday and Sunday's wins over the Padres through a total of 25 pitches. And he gets the big 3 to start it off. Springer, Altuve, Correa.
We talk about the big 3, you know, before the first 2 games, they were 17 times they were on base. Tonight, 5 more times so far with Altuve, 3 of those times.
Springer has walked. He's 0 for 2. Altuve has walked and doubled twice. He scored a run. Correa has singled, struck out twice. He's knocked in a run and scored once.
And probably why Daniel Hudson is in the game right now in the 7th inning.
Good
to
point.
Face these guys.
Very good point. Yeah. Fires that one the other way. Brandon Drury won't get there. And one hops the wall. And Springer's got a double. That's his 10th.
Well, I think Drury had a beat on this ball. Would not have been an easy catch, but he tripped and he fell. And if he didn't fall, I think he would have had that ball.
And remember, this is a guy that's been playing mostly third base and second base his entire baseball life.
Yep, there's no doubt. Not a bad pitch. Down and away. Springer goes that way with the ball. It's slicing away from Drury. It looks like he's got it. Tries to pick up speed, loses it. And then it bounces over the wall.
So Springer a leadoff double. Here's Altuve. They have yet to retire him tonight.
Right now, the Astros trying to tack on a run. I wouldn't be surprised if Altuve just tries to push this ball to the right side somewhere.
2 doubles tonight. He's now hit in 7 straight. They're not going to.
No, they're not going to sacrifice here.
Have him bunt. They'll try and get a base hit or at least hit it to that right side, as you mentioned.
One of the things A.J. Hinch was saying about him, how he's really become the complete player. Obviously, the player that A.J. just really relies on to really take control out on the field and also in the clubhouse. But his baseball knowledge, he says, is off the charts. And he knows the situation, and I'm sure he's going to try to hit this ball somewhere hard to the right side.
Well, he seems to break every one of the what A.J. Hinch called unnecessary stereotypes that come with being a smaller player. He's 5'6", but he's one of the best hitters in the game. Seems like there's nothing he doesn't do well.
He's a gamer. He's got him where he wants him here. 1 and 2. See if he can put him away. Strikeout would be clutch right here. Will Harris up in the pen for the Astros.
Former Diamondback. Chop to shortstop. Chris Owings. They finally retire Altuve. And now they'll deal with Correa.
And a great pitch, too. Slider, he got him to roll over it. Exactly what he's trying to get him to do. Hit the ball to the left side. He did it. And that frees Springer at second base. Big pitch at a clutch time. Daniel Hudson again.
Correa has struck out twice. He's got an RBI single. By the way, I'm told by our less than reliable staff that the Rio Grande River is nowhere near Houston, Texas. Not that it matters.
That's by El Paso.
Right now, the truck is underwater in the Buffalo Bayou, which is more geographically correct. If you're scoring at home.
The Buffalo Bayou?
I don't know. Apparently it's a body of water.
2 great pitches to start this at bat off by Huddy. Slider down, gets a strike, and runs that fastball in tight on him.
0-2.
Turns him into a defensive hitter right here.
Well, see, he ahead 0-2. Attacked with that hard fastball like you wanted Robbie to do.
Exactly.
Left-hander Zach Curtis warming up.
Trying to come inside on him. He missed with his location there. But Herman still held that ball out like he had a little bit of the outside corner. He held it right there, and it was in the zone.
Oh, that's a terrible call.
Yep, would have been strike 3.
Sean Barber back there. Now he's got to throw strike 4, which I'm sure pitchers love to do.
Barber's had a lousy night.
He's missed a few. That's been blatantly obvious. 2-2 on Carlos Correa. The book on Correa this season does seem to be that you can pound him inside with fastballs, and that's what we've seen Huddy try and do here. You will have success pitching him within the strike zone. Left that one out over the plate, but he swung through it.
Still a little bit of a long swing, and he beat him with it. That's good stuff. And another clutch at bat by Daniel Hudson there.
Well, Jimmy John's brings you the delivery of the game. They're a sponsor. It's fine. Evan Gattis is 6th. And that was the big hit as the Astros got 3 runs in the 5th inning, all with 2 outs against Robbie Ray. Altuve doubled. Correa singled him home. And then Gattis hit that 2-run homer.
Another good pitch. Getting ahead with the slider, just like Correa. Start him slow, finish him hard.
Daniel Hudson trying to strand that leadoff double. That one gets behind Chris Herman and rolls to the backstop, and Springer lines into 3rd.
Yanked a slider that time, I'm guessing. Something off speed. I don't think it was his changeup. Yeah, it looks like a slider down and away. Herman just couldn't get over there all the way. Probably should have blocked that ball. Well, with 2 outs, though, there's no harm done.
Tapper back out in front. Herman's on it. He throws out Gattis, and Hudson strands that leadoff double. Good job by Huddy there. He keeps it a 3-1 ball game as we head to the 8th inning. Texas. Steve Berthume and Tom Candiotti with you. Our thanks again to our friends at Root Sports. We are borrowing the home video feed for the portion of our broadcast. Candy and I will have the audio for you as our truck is in the Buffalo Bayou, wherever that is, underwater. Well, the new pitcher for the Astros, it's the former Diamondback, Will Harris, Candy.
22 consecutive appearances, scoreless appearances. Covers 22 in the third innings pitched by Will Harris. He has been excellent for the Astros.
He ranks first among all American League relievers in ERA. He's done a very good job. Very high ground ball rate, over 68%. And he's worked 22 in the third straight scoreless innings, Will Harris.
He's not a guy that throws the sinker. He's kind of over-the-top guy with a really good yacker, a very good cut fastball also.
Claimed off waivers from the Diamondbacks after the 2014 season. Chris Owings will lead it off. CO has struck out, grounded out 0 for 2. Diamondbacks have been out hit 7-5. They trail it 3-1 as we start the 8th.
93 miles an hour on that cut fastball. He's always had a really good cutter. He's throwing strikes.
I mean, that's how you get it done, right? You put up the kind of numbers we just saw from Will Harris. He come in, bing bang, 0-2.
0-2, get ahead. Yep. 2 different pitches.
Here's a look at the defensive lineman for the Astros against Chris Owings. Pretty standard. Well, he makes short work to Chris Owings. A strikeout for Harris. 1 down in the 8th.
Got ahead with the cut fastball. Came back with 2 hammers. 2 curveballs, and that last one was even better than the one before, and he gets a strikeout.
Can you name that Astro? Played for 9 different teams. Oh, Carl Everett. Jurassic Carl, as he was known in Boston.
Well, you knew it wasn't Bagwell or Biggio.
He once went on a rant to Dan Shaughnessy, the Boston Globe, trying to explain how dinosaurs didn't really exist. So Shaughnessy called him Jurassic Carl.
That's great.
Yasmani Tomas.
Well, watching a lot of the Discovery Channel, obviously.
Boy, he and Jimmy Williams almost killed each other in Boston. Tomas singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2.
Diamondback strikeouts mounting tonight. It's 10 times they've struck out.
7 for Mike Fiers, the starter. Giles struck out 2 in his inning. And now 1 for Harris. Well, that strike zone's getting a little big as the game wears on.
Might get big, and if you have a pitcher or a catcher that could take advantage of it, they're going to come back with another curveball, I'm sure. Probably down in the dirt and away.
Exactly right, but he lays off, and it's back even 2-2. Evan Gattis back there for the Astros. Yasmani had a couple of hits yesterday at Chase Field against Houston. Looking for his second hit tonight.
Tried it again. Yasmani disciplined this time. Of course, those last 2 pitches were really out of the zone.
Well, that's why Chip Hale has told us he likes Tomas in the 8th spot. Now, there's a DH today, so there's no pitcher behind him. But oftentimes, that guy in the 8 hole doesn't see a lot of balls in the zone, and Tomas can hit those pitches. There's a high bouncer to Altuve at second base. 2 outs for Harris. Brandon Drury now. Dallas Keuchel will pitch tomorrow. The left-hander. It's a breakfast with the Diamondbacks scenario. D-Back Live pregame show, fingers crossed, comes your way at 10:30. First pitch at 11:10 tomorrow morning. Dallas Keuchel and Zach Greinke.
As long as they can find our truck.
Gonna have to pull it out of the lake or the bayou or wherever it is. Boy, when these Texas thunderstorms move in, they don't mess around. We got to find some cover. Drury has scored the Diamondbacks' only run. He singled in the third. Wound up coming in a wild pitch by Mike Fiers. Garvin Alston, the bullpen coach. Zach Curtis, the rookie lefty, looks like he's getting the bottom of the 8th inning. We have seen Barrett and Hudson so far out of the Diamondback bullpen.
Nice take by Drury that time. Harris is really good with the location of his cutter. I mean, he has been right on the edge, right down. Very rarely do you see him leave that ball over the middle of the plate.
Two.
Yeah, right there on the outside part of the plate.
Diamondbacks since the end of the 3rd inning have had only 2 hits, both singles, Tomas and Weeks Jr. Two and two.
Curveball, couldn't block it that time. Wasn't close. Will Harris after he threw that pitch kind of shook his head in disgust. He didn't want to go to 3-2. Just looking for a base runner.
Correa at shortstop. The backhander. Perfect throw. 1-2-3 inning for Harris. Bottom 8 coming up. Diamondbacks down 3-1. .com at that app, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone or tablet. You can get updates, video, the whole thing. MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Available right now.
I love it. I use it all the time.
Yeah, I do too. It's fantastic. I'm stealing some of their promos.
You're doing a great job. I love it.
I'm trying to mix and match the sponsors. Here's Will Harris, the former D-back. In a 1-2-3 8th inning. Zach Curtis, the rookie left-hander, out there now. Scoreless baseball in his first 10 career major league appearances and only 3 hits allowed. In 8 1/3 innings of work, Marwin Gonzalez will lead it off for the Astros, the first baseman. He singled his last time up. He's 1 for 3.
And really earning the trust of Chip Hale. That's important for a reliever.
Especially as the only lefty back there.
Yeah, that too. He comes in, a little guy again, but he's got a big arm. Runs it up there high. The ball gets on guys real quick. He's got a good breaking ball. This is all with a guy that first time around the league right now. Less than 10 innings in the big leagues.
Just called up from Class A Visalia April 30th. Jumped right up to the major leagues. He worked a scoreless inning, Zach did Monday. And has pitched extremely well since his call-up. At Visalia, playing for J.R. House, he had 22 strikeouts in only 8 games. He was rolling as their closer. Was brilliant last season at Kane County. Drafted less than 2 years ago out of Middle Tennessee State. He's ahead of Marwin Gonzalez, 0-2.
Put him away right here. You want to keep this score where it is. You're down by 2 runs as it is. Probably going to face Gregerson in the last inning. I think I got him.
And finally, we get a signal from Sean Barber, who awards Gonzalez first base.
Slider, he really bounced this ball. Almost like he had a little bit too much pine tar. Stick him something. You got him right in that back leg. Saw the uniform jersey move a little bit.
Here's Valbuena. He has twice grounded out and struck out. He's 0 for 3. This guy's really been a nice acquisition. They traded him. They acquired him from the Cubs for Dexter Fowler a couple of years ago. Last year he hit 25 home runs. And he's been the primary third baseman this year. They'll put the shift on for Valbuena with Gonzalez at first and nobody out.
Really a good trade for both teams, huh?
Yeah, Fowler's been a perfect fit in center field for the Cubs. There is Gregerson, the closer, warming up in the Astro bullpen. Diamondbacks have the top of the order due up in the top of the 9th inning. Segura, Bourne, and Goldie.
Where you think a ground ball.
Well, they're going to have to hit it into the shift. Jake Lamb playing right behind the second base bag. And Chris Owings all by himself midway between second and third. Brandon Drury is really deep out there in right. Just in front of the warning track. You can see Brandon's barely in your picture.
Where'd he go?
He might be in the Rio Grande River.
If we had a telestrator, if I did get blown away also, I could have circled him.
It's underwater with the rest of the truck. What do you think of Zach Curtis's delivery, Candy? The way he kind of comes at you from that low arm angle, crossfire from the left-hand side.
It gets on you real quick. And I think especially from the left-hand side.
I bet, yeah. Brad Ziegler warming up with Garvin Alston in the Diamondback bullpen.
And right now he's even pitching from the middle of the rubber. A lot of times you'll see pitchers either get on one side of the rubber or the other. You know, especially a guy like Zach is not a real big guy. If you get him way over, create a little arm angle too on his breaking ball.
Now, why do different guys stand on different sides of the rubber?
I think number one, it's comfort. You've got to be able to throw strikes first and foremost.
So there is no right or wrong per se.
Nope, there's no right or wrong at all. I think whatever a guy feels better at and more effective at. Now, sometimes when people struggle, guys struggle a little bit, and sometimes you think, well, let's try to move you over a little bit, you know, on this side of the rubber, and maybe it gives you a little bit different look because you think it. I mean, what is the rubber? 18 inches, I think. Whatever it is, it makes a big difference when you're over on one side compared to the other.
Now, for example, here against a left-hand hitter like Valbuena, wouldn't it be better to be over on the first base side so it's even more crossfire?
Yeah, you think that at some point they might move him over there, make him a little bit more effective against lefties, I think.
Well, Curtis has hit a man, walked a batter, so 2 on, nobody out. And Carlos Gomez will make his way up to the plate. Mike Butcher out to the mound, trying to keep this a 3-1 ball game. Don't forget, series finale tomorrow. It's breakfast with the Diamondbacks. An 11:10 a.m. first pitch, a getaway day game here in Houston. And what a pitching matchup we'll have for you. Zach Greinke and Dallas Keuchel. And then it's off to Wrigley Field, Chicago for 3 against those Cubbies over the weekend.
Really? Either one of those 2 guys could have been the Cy Young last year. Of course, Keuchel got it. Yeah. It'll be a fun matchup. It'll be a fun game. Hope we have a truck.
We can find it. We'll do it from a fishing boat or something. Gomez singled, stole a base in the 4th. He's 1 for 3.
He's going to be aggressive in this situation. Guys on base. I don't think he's looking to put a bunt down or anything. I think he's up there trying to drive these guys in. He'll keep the ball down on that first pitch. Get that ground ball. Nice pitch.
Didn't get the call. It's 1-0. Gonzalez is the runner at second. Valbuena at first.
Gomez has had 2 sack bunts this year.
Man. Look at this. That's a beautiful pitch.
So Sean Barber has not had a good night.
Oh.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, it's getting really bad. He made the perfect pitch right there.
And it switches the whole AB around.
Drives this one to center. Bourne back it up. And he's got it shy of the track. Gonzalez will go back to the bag and tag up. He's in at third.
But even that first missed call turns that pitch around.
Yeah.
Turn the bat around.
So they're on the corners for the Astros. 1 out. And the DH Tyler White. That pitch was almost in the same spot as the first one.
Does a little bat flip. He thinks, I don't know what he thinks.
Oh, he bat flips on everything. That's just what he does. And that's going to be it for Zach Curtis. Chip Hale out to the mound. He's had Brad Ziegler warming up, and he's looking for that ground ball.
And none better to get it than Brad Ziegler.
So he'll come in here trailing 3-1. Back from Houston in just a moment. Pitcher for the Diamondbacks. It's Brad Ziegler. Pitched twice over the weekend against the Padres. Closed the game Saturday and Sunday. And you see the numbers for the year on Brad. He has struggled over his last 5 appearances. 5 runs allowed on 7 hits in 5 innings. He's also walked 3 Candy and hit a batter. He's not been quite the same guy we're used to lately.
No, not at all. That's why you see that high whip. It's up there. I'd like to see that down for Brad. But the reason he's in right now, he's that ground ball double play specialist. And he can do that as well as anybody in baseball over, I don't even know how long. But if one guy you need to get a ground ball in a situation, this is the guy you bring in.
Well, Tyler White was the scheduled hitter, but they'll recall him the right-hander. And here's the left-hand hitting Tony Kemp, who will take the at-bat for White. Kemp only 10 games with Houston this year. His first look at the big leagues, a 24-year-old rookie. 5 for 24 at the plate this season. Jam shot, fly ball out to Tomas, backing up on the track. Gonzalez is at third. He will score, and it's 4-1.
First pitch jumped on it. Got it underneath the ball, didn't roll over it. And that's how you got to attack Brad Ziegler. You got to stay inside the ball, and he did that. Got the job done for A.J. Hinch and the Astros.
Here's a look. It sounded like he may have broken his back. But even in this very shallow left field, it was deep enough to get Gonzalez home with a 4th run. Jake Marisnick. 0 for 3.
Really just the way this inning started. Hit by pitch, a walk. They're like gifts.
Oh, they gave him a sacrifice on that first one. So make it 0 for 2.
This guy out here, you want to turn this lineup over again, face the top of the order.
George Springer would be next.
A.J. Hinch was telling us what a valuable outfielder this guy has been and is. He can play all the outfield positions. He's very athletic. He can bunt. He can do so many things for you off the bench. He's got speed.
Yeah, was playing center field for the most part while Gomez was out. Excuse me, check swing back to the mound. Ziegler has it. And that's the inning. But the Astros add a tack-on run. And as we go to the 9th inning, Diamondbacks trail at 4-1. Maid Park in Houston, Texas. The Diamondbacks trail the Astros 4-1 in a game that has seen some tremendous defensive plays for both sides. Carlos Gomez has been spectacular in center field. Jake Marisnick, a nice diving catch early in the ballgame in left. And Evan Gattis behind the plate pouncing on one. And so the Diamondbacks need to find at least 3 runs here against the Astros closer, Luke Gregerson. They've run into several outs on the bases, Candy. That's also hurt them. 3, in fact, 2 in the first inning.
Yeah, the first inning to me right now has really been the key to this game. What happened? You know, you get a walk, caught stealing. You know, Michael Bourne reads a little blooper by Goldie and gets thrown out at third base. That hurt right there. You could have had 2 walks, a base hit, and who knows what could happen.
Well, here's the closer, Luke Gregerson, who picked up his 13th save yesterday at Chase Field. He struck out all 3 batters he faced. Bourne, Goldie, and Lamb. He'll work to the top of the order here in the Arizona 9th. Gene Segura takes strike 1.
He's got the turbo slider. That's his out pitch. Starts him off with the fastball there, but he usually likes to get right to that slider. And there it was.
Astros just picked up that extra run without the benefit of a base hit. A hit, batter, and a walk. A fly ball moved the runner over to third, then a sacrifice fly. Segura down 0-2. He singled and walked tonight.
Houston right now going for their 5th win of the row. I mean, that's
4 wins in a row.
Season high.
Yeah, it's already a season high. It'll be 5 in a row and 8 of their last 9 if they hang on here. They have really turned it around after a disappointing month.
Gregerson's got one of those sliders where everyone knows it's coming. Everyone in the ballpark knows it's coming, but it's still very difficult to hit.
He's made a living off it for a long time. Yep. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Gene Segura. That got him on the hand. Ken Crenshaw, the D-backs trainer, is going to come out and have a look. Somewhere on the left hand of Gene Segura.
2-seamer coming inside, and look like it got him just on the wrist area.
Might have hit the knob of the bat too.
Yeah, that angle, the second angle we saw, looked like it might have got the bottom of the bat.
First time the Diamondbacks have had a leadoff man in the inning reach base since Segura walked to start the ball game. Hit by pitch is subject to review. Don't see any challenge forthcoming for the Astros dugout. So Segura's aboard for Michael Bourne. Bourne has walked, flied out, struck out 0 for 2. Well, you need base runners, and that's a good start. Gene's hand, wrist appear to be okay. Goldie on deck. Valbuena creeps in on the grass at third. Swing and a miss by Bourne, 0-1. Michael 1 for 8 with 4 strikeouts in the first 2 games against the Astros in Phoenix. 0 for 2 with a walk so far tonight. That's in there for a strike, and Gregerson jumps ahead 0-2.
Well, Michael Bourne's an experienced hitter. He knows the situation. You know he was going to make him throw at least 1 strike there. And now he's got a battle.
Well, he's shown that he's very good at that. He did not go, says Jerry Meals at third.
Yeah, he's going to get a dose of sliders here. Gonzalez holding Segura at first base. There's a little bit of a hole on the right side.
Well, it's nice to have that left-hand hitter in your 2-hole when you get that leadoff man on. Chops it foul.
AJ Hinch was telling me, you see Springer way out in right center. Rarely do you ever see the right fielder play anywhere towards the line.
Base hit, and he hit it right there to the vacated area in the right field corner. Segura is going to come on in here. Ned Williams will wave him home, and he will score. It's an RBI double for Michael Bourne, and a 4-2 ball game.
Boy, nicely done. Just kind of hooked that ball. It looked like a slider to me. He hooked it, got into that corner. Springer very quick getting over there, but Michael Bourne could have third base. But the nature of the game right now, you're down by 2 runs. That was the right thing to do, is stay at second base.
Well, you called it, Candy. Springer was almost way over in right center field. He had to run a long way just to get to that ball, and Segura scored easily.
Yeah, and Hinch was telling us the reason they do that, because anything in that corner is going to be a double anyway. But when you have speed, to me, whether it's Segura or Bourne, a guy like that, he could have had a triple easily there.
So the D-backs get the tying run to the plate. Still nobody out in the 9th inning. Goldie singled in the first. He's 1 for 3. The Houston native.
Probably sitting slider and got a fastball at 89 and blew it by him. He was late on that swing.
When you throw your slider as often as Gregerson does, I guess you can get away with fastballs in that location from time to time, even with good hitters.
Yeah, and especially because not only does he throw a slider a lot, it's a really good one.
One and 2.
Always go back to whether you manager, pitching coach, whatever. You'd never want to lose a game or give up a lead with your second best pitch. His best pitch is a slider, and that's what Goldie's been looking for.
Able to hold up. He's back even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. First 2 have reached in the Arizona 9th. 1 has scored. Just absolutely steals one from Goldie. Well, a night of sensational defense continues, Candy, here in the 9th.
Boy, that was just highway robbery there. Goldie just jumped on this ball, line shot. And I don't even know how Marvin Gonzalez caught this ball.
Oh, man.
I mean, it was a Raven Goldie did a bat flip out of frustration.
That's a big time hang with him.
Yep. Bad break for the Diamondbacks.
But still just the first out in the inning. Astros will put the shift on for Jake Lamb, who's 0 for 3. He has struck out twice.
Well, that ball had a chance to be a double.
Oh, easily, yeah. And Springer again well off that right field line. Fly ball for Lamb. It's headed toward the bullpen. Springer at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. Jake Lamb ties it up 4-4.
Jake Lamb, Mr. Clutch. He didn't wait around. He got a slider, and he hammered this ball. That's a deep part in right center.
He's got 9 home runs this year, Candy. 5 of them have come in the 9th inning.
Wow. And he slipped as he was going down the stairs. Don't get hurt, Jake.
Here's a look. Oh, he got a hanger, and he did not miss it. And that's going to end Gregerson's night. It carried right over Springer's head into that Houston bullpen. And Jake Lamb, who had a big home run just like that in San Francisco back in April, comes up with another one here to tie it up in Houston. So the Diamondbacks down 4-1 have come up with 3 in the 9th to tie it. Back in a moment.
Diamondbacks 3-1 ball.
In Houston, Texas, we are all tied up 4-4. New pitcher for the Astros, the right-hander Pat Neshek, with that crazy funky motion of his, but a very effective pitcher usually. He had a rough April, but he worked to a 1.93 ERA in the month of May. Scoreless baseball in 16 of his last 19 games. Ricky Weeks is the first batter he faces. The Diamondbacks down 4-1 have come up with 3 in the 9th. Michael Bourne an RBI double. Jake Lamb a 2-run home run.
Another big home run by Lamb. One of many.
9 home runs for Jake this year. 5 of them have come in the 9th inning. And if you're just joining us, we are borrowing the video feed from our friends at Root Sports. Our Fox Sports Arizona truck was flooded by just a Texas thunderstorm that washed everything away out there. So Tom Candiotti and I have the call. We're borrowing the Astros pictures for you. Try and bring you this ball game. So we appreciate everybody hanging in with us back home, because it has been a mess here. We're going to take a canoe ride back to the hotel.
Neshek, this guy's delivery is so unorthodox that as a hitter you have to focus in on his release point. You can't get caught up in his motion. So take a snapshot of that release point. There's a hitter with the Dodgers, well, as a pitcher, but hitting with the Dodgers. Reggie Smith was our hitting coach, and he used to say, focus on the pitcher's head, and then as he gets ready to pitch, let your eyes drift to his release point, and always focus on that release point.
No, but why would you start at the head? Wouldn't you just start at the release point and look for it? No?
Well, yeah, that's what he said.
He knew about hitting.
I wasn't smart enough to ask him that.
Exactly. You just say yes, sir, and move on.
Yes, sir. Well, didn't do me any good.
Well, Neshek's been a very good pitcher for a long time. 10 years in the big leagues. His career ERA is 2.93. Longtime Minnesota Twin. He's been in San Diego, Oakland, St. Louis, now in his 2nd season with the Astros. Ricky Weeks is fighting him off here.
fighting off those tough pitches. And then hopefully he makes a mistake and leaves it out over the plate, something he can handle.
Yeah, but everything to Ricky here's been in on the hands. 7th pitch of the at-bat coming up. Left that one away. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Ricky Weeks Jr., who Chip Hale told us will DH tonight and again tomorrow. We're with you at 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, the getaway day game. The final of this 4-game home and home with the Astros. Zach Greinke and Dallas Keuchel. Ricky reaches out and lifts it in the air. Shallow center. Gomez running in, and he won't get there. It drops in front. Ricky Weeks Jr. A 1-out single. He's the go-ahead run.
Wasn't going to rob him again this time.
It was the same play or the same hit on which Ricky was thrown out by George Springer in the 7th inning. That time he didn't try to take the extra base.
Just kind of dropped it in there. Gomez got a good jump on it. He's quick, but couldn't catch up with that one.
So Ricky Weeks Jr. a bloop single, his 2nd hit tonight. And here is the native Texan, Chris Herman. He has grounded out, struck out twice, 0 for 3. There's the strike 0-1. The defensive alignment by the Astros. Correa, the shortstop, right behind second base umpire Chris Conroy.
Now we've seen Herman plug that left center field gap a few times. It's almost like the whole outfield of the Astros has just kind of shifted over. And again, that right field corner really exposed. And if he can somehow hook one down there, there's no way Springer's going to be able to get over there to get Ricky Weeks.
Great at bat by Ricky Weeks. That's one of the things that's going to go unnoticed in this ball game, especially if he comes around and scores. He was down 0-2. That was not a strike. But Ricky battled and battled, fouled all those pitches off the fist, and dropped one into shallow center.
Nijek really showed up. Home plate umpire Sean Barber at that last non-call.
This is lifted in the air to Marisnik in left field. That's the 2nd out in the 9th. Chris Owings now.
Surely would like to get another run here. You're looking at the top 3 again coming up next inning for the Astros.
Yeah, Springer, Altuve, and Correa will lead it off. Well, Brad Ziegler got the final 2 outs of that bottom of the 8th inning, so he should be good to go for the bottom of the 9th.
It was pretty quick for him.
Yeah, Chris Owings 0 for 3, struck out twice. Chris still looking for his first hit in this series against the Astros. He was 0 for 5. A couple of walks the first 2 games at Chase Field. There is no one throwing in the Diamondback bullpen. Houston bullpen is quiet as well. It's leaking toward the seats. Foul ground. Gonzalez can't make the over-the-shoulder catch.
Well, Gonzalez was going back there. Springer came a long ways from right field, and Altuve was sprinting over there, and none of them could quite get there.
They had it surrounded. Chance to take advantage for Chris. Down 0-2. Got him. But the Diamondbacks come up with 3. Michael Bourne, the RBI double. Jake Lamb, the 2-run homer. We are all tied in Houston. back in Houston. Bottom of the 9th inning in what is now a 4-4 ball game. The Diamondbacks and the Astros. Brad Ziegler back out there after getting the last 2 outs in the game. But he's got to face Houston's big three: Springer, Altuve, Correa, the top of the Astros lineup in the home half of the 9th.
Chip Hale had Huddy facing these guys last time through, and now he's got Ziegler facing these guys. This is really the heart of their order.
Yeah. Floats that one in there for strike one. Springer walked in the 3rd, doubled his last time up. 1 for 3. Jake Lamb at 3rd. He's in the hole. Nice scoop by Goldie. Quickly one away.
Jake knew he had to be quick with this one. Springer flying down the line, and quick transfer that time and got the throw to Goldie, and nice play.
So he's worked through 1/3 of the 3-headed monster, and here's part 2. Jose Altuve has walked, doubled twice, and scored a run. He's at .332 on the year.
And don't take this guy lightly just because of the average, because he's popped 9 balls out of the ballpark.
A lot more power this year from Altuve than he's shown in years past. Brad again gets strike one. Altuve hitting a lot more line drives this season compared to last year. This is a guy that is a much more complete hitter, they believe, and as A.J. Hinch said, he is maturing in front of their eyes. A guy they thought was already mature. Most of that has come with pitch selection. We've talked about that. Much more disciplined at the plate.
Which is very difficult for a lot of guys because you know they can hit any pitch.
Right center field. Bourne drifting over there. A fly ball out for Ziegler, 2 down.
Had him played perfectly out there.
Sure did. Well, here's Correa, who came up with a big hit in the 5th, an RBI single. He scored a run. And he had some histrionics last year with a walk-off hit. He was a real problem for the Diamondbacks last season, Carlos Correa. 6 games, he homered 4 times and drove in 9. He has struck out 3 times tonight, 1 for 4.
Don't want to walk him. He's another guy that can steal a base on you.
Deep fly ball, right center field, way back. It's off the wall. Correa flying around second. Bourne has it on the warning track, and Gary Pettis will stop him at 3rd. He just missed another walk-off homer. I'm not sure, Candy, you can hit it any higher on that fence out there and have it stay in the yard.
And as you were talking earlier in this game, it gets really deep out to right center field really quickly. And he hit it out there, probably the deepest part out there before it goes up on that hill.
It's a very kind of shaky chain link fence out there, and he hit it off that top cushion part. It rolled back toward Tal's Hill, and watch Correa Cadillacing a little bit, thinking he's got the walk-off, and now he's got to kick it into high gear.
Yeah, he thought he had it. He was eyeballing it all the way down the line.
He's at 3rd, the winning run with 2 outs for Evan Gattis, who homered in the 5th. There's strike 1. One more look. Carlos Correa. That's his first triple of the season. Oh, he's got El Oso Blanco way out in front. 0-2 on the White Bear.
That was a nice pitch. The frisbee right outside, right where Herman wanted it. I have to throw him that pitch again.
Winning run 90 feet away. 2 outs, 0-2 on Gattis. Pops him up. Shallow right center. Bourne calling for it. And they strand that 2-out triple. We will play extra innings in Houston. It's 4-4. Jerky all season long. Jack Link's beef jerky. Feed your wild side. Made it. 10th inning. 4-4 ball game. The D-backs and the Astros, and the new pitcher for Houston. We saw him in the ball game yesterday. Worked a scoreless 6th inning. The right-hander Michael Phillies.
Pretty good stuff. An 0.91 whip this year. Been excellent May like the rest of their bullpen.
This is the 8th extra inning game this season for the Astros. That's the most in the American League. So far they are 4-3 in their previous 7. It's the 5th extra inning game for the Diamondbacks this year. To this point they are 2-2 in extras. Yasmani Tomas, who singled in the 5th, will lead off the 10th. He's 1 for 3.
That's a kick pickup right where we left off last inning.
Ground ball to Valbuena at 3rd. 1 pitch, 1 out for Feliz as Tomas swings at the first one. That'll bring up Brandon Drury.
Breaking ball first pitch, and he offered after it.
Brandon scored the first D-backs run. They led it 1-0 in the 3rd. He singled, later scored on a wild pitch.
Yeah, that single he hit so hard off the wall. Just a bolt.
By the way, there was good news on David Peralta today. I want to pass that along with Brandon Drury playing right field. David played in an extended spring training game today. Had a base hit, an RBI, a walk. He stole a base, looked good, felt great, he said. And Chip said before the game today that that bad wrist has actually been hurting David for a while, but he is a different guy right now and is ready to rock again. So the plan as of right now is for Peralta to play one more extended spring game tomorrow. He'll take Friday off, and then he will go to Reno and play with the Aces Saturday and Sunday. As Drury punches out, they want Peralta to get at least 2 games in the Coast League to sort of get his pace of game back up to speed before he rejoins the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, and that's great news. You should get back the Peralta that you had last year. Yeah, so that's the guy you want.
He should be back in time to start that long homestand after we come back from Chicago this weekend. 2 down for Segura. He has walked, singled, been hit by a pitch. He's gotten on base as the leadoff guy just about every way you can get on base.
He really has. 2-out rally.
Well, the Astros got 3 runs in the 5th, all with 2 outs against Robbie Ray.
Big cut that time.
96 from Phillies, a ball and a strike.
Got a good arm.
Another fastball at 96 is in there, and it's 1-2.
Poured it right in.
In the seats. Looks like Tyler Clippard is warming up in the garage out there, which serves as the visiting bullpen. And we saw Tyler Clippard pitch the 9th inning yesterday. Through 18 pitches, 10 for strikes. A walk and 2 strikeouts. There he is with the bullpen coach, Garvin Alston. Clippard would face Gonzalez, Valbuena, and Gomez 5, 6, and 7 in the Houston 10th. Gene can't hold up. Gaddis completes the strikeout. 2 strikeouts for Feliz, who works a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom 10 coming up from Minute Maid Park.
Jack Links.
Friends at Roost Sports video feed. Candy and I have the audio as we piece together the broadcast for you on a stormy day in downtown Houston. And it's been a stormy ball game. And Candy, for the 3rd game in a row, Chip Hale is going to have to run through almost his entire bullpen.
They are really getting taxed right now, but that's kind of the situation right now. I think he's really handled it really well tonight. He's had Huddy the first time in the 7th inning go through the top 3 of the order. He's had Ziegler last time go through the top 3 of the order. Now it sets up really well for Tyler Clippard.
So the numbers on Tyler, a 2.25 ERA in 21 appearances. He worked the 9th inning yesterday. Had a walk and 2 strikeouts, scoreless baseball in 8 of his last 9 outings. Marwin Gonzalez, the first baseman, will lead it off. Gonzalez, Valbuena, Gomez due up in the Houston 10th.
12th pitcher of this game, 6 by each team. You'd like to have a really quick inning here. I don't want to see him get taxed either. But I'm guessing he's only going to be good no matter how he pitches for probably 1 inning.
Gonzalez has singled, been hit by a pitch, and scored a run. Pops up the bunt attempt. Herman on the run. What a play! Oh, he can't hang on. He had it, and then he hit the ground. A tremendous effort there from Chris Herman.
It's amazing how quick this guy is. Herman just out of the crouch behind the plate.
I mean, he's almost in the first base coach's box when he lands.
Yeah, he was way down there. And a great dive, and the ball just popped out as he hit the ground. You know he can run, but he is quick.
And he's got his other hand on it, too, but he hit the ground hard and it rolled away. Great effort by Chris. Well, that's why they call him Herm the Worm, rolling around on the ground. 1-1 on Marwin Gonzalez. Again, he shows bunt. Again, he pops it up. This is behind the Astros dugout, and it's 1-2.
Trying it again. Ditto. This one just went the stands with it.
Just keep going.
Do it again.
And check his swing. Clippard gets the strikeout, 1 down.
I think that was a split finger. That was nasty. Down and away in the dirt. Almost as if Marwin Gonzalez didn't want any part of him.
Great
Good
view of that split grip. Yeah, you're right. Good call. They'll put the shift on for Valbuena. Jake Lamb will move over from third to second. 3 defenders on the right side of the infield. Valbuena walked his last time up. He's 0 for 3.
Clippard, not a real hard thrower. A lot of deception. Good changeup, splitter, breaking ball. Changeup there, fouled off.
Carlos Gomez on deck. Valbuena homered yesterday at Chase Field. His 6th of the year. Here's the defensive alignment. Lamb right in front of second base umpire Chris Conroy. That's in there for a strike. 1-2. Valbuena can't believe it.
Yeah, it's a great breaking ball, too.
Yeah, beautiful pitch. Caught the knees. Went with a fastball that missed up and away, and it's seeded 2-2.
Big hole out in right center field. Drury playing deep. Of course, Bourne knows this outfield well as anybody.
And that's really paid off, Candy, tonight. Michael Bourne has made catches in left center, right center, in, deep. He's been all over that center field area.
He really has. It's really been an asset for the D-backs tonight.
Full count, 3-2.
Changeup, fouls it back.
Chip Hale's going to have to take his bullpen out to dinner or something. These guys have really done yeoman's work the last 3 days now.
Well, another day off for a while.
Yeah. Well, Clippard wins the battle. He strikes out Gonzalez, then Valbuena 2 down.
All that assortment of off-speed pitches, and he comes back with a heater. Good fastball right by him. He ran it.
Carlos Gomez.
What a nice job Herman is doing calling this game.
Gomez singled in the fourth. 1 for 4. That's a classic Carlos Gomez swing right there. When they build a statue of him, it'll look just like that. The helmet off, on the ground. That's right there. Trying to catch the helmet as it's falling off his head.
Like just a nasty curveball to start the AB. Even if he hit that ball, it wasn't going to go anywhere. It was practically on the dirt.
That one bounced.
Yeah, try to throw him a lower one.
He might swing at it too. A guy that is striking out 35% of the time he's up there this year. Carlos Gomez. Tony Kemp, who had a big sacrifice fly his last time up, batting in the DH spot, is on deck. 1-2. Clipper to strike away from getting the side in order.
Clipper hurried up his delivery that time and brought the fastball, and it was almost as if Gomez wasn't ready for it. See a lot of pitchers starting to do that this year.
The quick pitch, yeah. Very trendy. Didn't get the call. Sean Barber not biting, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Did it again. Change up though instead of the fastball, and could have been called a strike again. He was on the edge.
That was a really good pitch. Really good. There's the strikeout, the helmet, the whole thing. Clippard strikes out the side. 1, 2, 3. And we go to the 11th.
Check.
Presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. Feed it. Diamondbacks were down 4-1 in the 9th inning, but they got 3 in the 9th to tie it up, and now we head to the 11th. Michael Bourne will lead it off against Michael Phillies. Michael, the Houston native and former Astro. A big RBI double in that 9th inning. He also scored a run. Came in on Jake Lamb's 2-run homer that tied it up. Valbuena in at third. There's strike 1.
Well, you know Michael's going to put in a bat on him.
Well, as the go-ahead run, you'd love to have him on base, but he's down 0-2. Phillies had 2 strikeouts in the 10th, his 2nd inning of work. This is chopped back to the mound, right to Phillies. They just do get Bourne, who made it close, one away.
Almost surprised he did an underhand flip over.
That was very close. You're right. Yeah.
Bourne was flying down the line. That became a bang play at first.
Watch how close this is over at the bag.
I mean, he got him clearly, but even Gonzalez was looking in the dugout after that.
Man, anytime. Goldie now singled in the first inning. 1 for 4. He had a rocket in the 9th inning that somehow Marwin Gonzalez snared out of midair to take away at least a single and probably an RBI double. But the next batter, Jake Lamb, hit a 2-run homer to tie the game. But Goldie absolutely smoked it the last time up. Missed with that one, a ball and a strike.
This kid has got a good arm. 97 miles an hour on that last fastball.
Two and 1. Chip Hale was speaking about what's spurred this Goldie run lately. Much more aggressive earlier in the count. Just like that, he sees his pitch and he's going after it. Earlier this year, Candy, we saw Goldie take pitches that we didn't normally see him take. But now Chip says he is locked in. He's seeing his pitch and he's letting it fly.
Yep. And then he started getting aggressive for a little stretch. And a lot of first pitches, he would swing at little dribblers. Yeah. And now he's seeing it better, but he's driving the ball to the right side now.
Full count, 3-2.
It's kind of been a process for him.
Yeah, you're right. You could see there was a concerted effort to be much more aggressive much earlier in the count, and it led to a lot of short at-bats for him. Chases that one at 96. That's the 25th strikeout of this baseball game for both teams.
Just good stuff Felice has. Counted the fastball, and this one was down. Gets on top of it. He's got a little downward angle, but he has that good velo, 97.
He's retired all 5 he's faced in the ball game, and here's the man who tied it up in the 9th inning, Jake Lamb. A 2-run homer into the Astros bullpen in right center. His 9th of the year. Astros will put the shift on. Of Jake's 9 home runs, 5 have come in the 9th inning. So he's now hit safely in 10 straight.
And he has hit some big home runs for the D-backs here.
Well,
can he do it again?
That home run he hit in San Francisco in that first game of the 4-game series when they were down there the last strike in the 9th inning at AT&T Park. That was a game changer. He had an enormous series, and that really changed the whole tone and tenor of that series and that road trip.
You thought it was over. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah,
he's number 22, and boom.
Just cleared that Levi's Landing out there by McCovey Cove in San Francisco. One and 2. This is headed for the seats. Marisnick will give it a look, but it's out of play.
Bring it way out in right center field.
Well, that's right where Jake hit it last time, only it was over his head. He hits anything down that right field line, it's a triple, easy. Tons of room out there, but he strikes out. Feliz, 4 strikeouts. He retired all 6 he faced in the 10th and the 11th. We're still tied in Houston.
ここにチタンウルトラボット5000が
hits apiece, the D-backs and the Astros. And we want to thank our friends again at Root Sports. If you're just joining us, our truck is underwater here in downtown Houston. A torrential thunderstorm washed it away, so we are borrowing the video portion of our broadcast from the friends at Root Sports. So you're looking at the home feed. Tom Candiotti and Steve Berthium here with the audio, so we're piecing this thing together for you as Tony Kemp will lead off the Houston 11th against Tyler Clippard.
And this has become a battle of the bullpens right now. Clippard out for another inning. Never threw that inning yesterday. The last inning was easy for him.
Kemp had a sacrifice fly his first time up off Brad Ziegler. He hit for Tyler White, the DH, and has remained in the ball game. That made it 4-1. But then the D-backs got 3 in the 9th. A Michael Bourne RBI double and a Jake Lamb 2-run home run. And here we are.
That at bat by Kemp was big. Ziegler was in the game trying to get that ground ball double play, and he stayed underneath that ball and got a fly ball.
Hit it deep enough to left field to bring the run home from third. Interesting that the Astros, who already have Jose Altuve, have another player in Kemp who's 5'6". They're bookends. A high chopper to Segura. Kemp really runs well. One away in the 11th. Clippard struck out the side 1, 2, 3 in the 10th. And he's thrown 19 pitches.
4 up, 4 down. He did a great job. But he did a nice job. His bullpens, as taxed as they are, they're still doing a great job here.
Jake Barrett worked a 1, 2, 3, 6. Jake Marisnick 0 for 3.
Ziegler did a nice job, although you did hold your breath on that ball that Correa hit.
Yeah, he just missed a home run in that 9th inning, Carlos Correa. Very high off the wall in right center. That one is yanked foul. It might hit the roof. I think it did hit the roof. Holy cow. Jake Marisnick. You can't hit it any higher in this ballpark. But he pulled it way out in front. As big as that hat.
That's a bucket hat.
1 and 2. Diamondbacks in the 12th inning. If we get there, we'll have Weeks Jr., Herman, and Owings up 5, 6, and 7. Both bullpens quiet right now. Tyler at 23 pitches, 15 strikes. He threw 18 pitches in yesterday's ball game. Boy, he really gave it everything he had that time. 93. That's about as high as he can go, and he's got his 4th strikeout in 5 batters.
You could almost tell he was going to hump up on that, just the way he loaded up on that delivery. And he let it all go and just right by him.
Sure did. Challenged him. One more big out to get. The top of the order rolls around again. It's George Springer, who has walked and doubled. Trying to get us to the 12th. Fly ball, left center field, way back and gone.
Set on a breaking ball, and he got it, and he hit it a mile.
Who else but George Springer? Springer came into the ball game 6 hits and 5 RBIs, a double and a homer in the first 2 games against the Diamondbacks at Chase Field. And today, a double and the walk-off home run, his 13th of the year. His second walk-off this season.
Well, this Astros team right now, they're believing in themselves.
Well, Tyler Clippard looked as good as Tyler Clippard has looked all year, Candy. He was flat-out dominant. But Springer got him with a 2-out walk-off homer.
He really did. You know, he was Tyler Clippard, to his credit, threw a great 10th inning, was on the way of finishing in this inning off. Remember, he pitched yesterday also. His bullpen has been taxed, but breaking ball that time, he just left up a little bit, and he was on it. And I think it was the right pitch to throw, but he nailed it.
So the Astros have won a season-high 5 in a row. The Diamondbacks have dropped 14 of their last 20 games. That's it from Houston. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.
Real meal for fried butter.